If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
Today is the beginning of the end and the start of a new beginning. Time has come to redefine yourself and to let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will feel free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you're the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a I don't give a fuck. 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 It's time to start doing the right thing. So trust your instinct. Stop listening to others and own your decisions. People will always tell you what to do, speak and how to live. So let's create space for what matters most to you. You'll be glad you did. Now start claiming your time and your mental well-being by saying no more. No more. Say it loudly and proudly. In other words, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Strange. That was weird. That was very strange. I didn't have Mike there at all. Sorry about that, guys. We have good audio. Mic check. Mic check. Got audio. We good? Help me out here, guys. Mic check. We good? All right, good. Good deal. All right, thanks, guys. Sorry about that. I had something really weird going on. Oh, wait. God damn it. Let's see. Nope, that's just my normal voice. Sweet. All right, good. Good deal. All right. What is new? What is new? What is new? Got a lot new. Let's see who's out there. Kevin's back in the house. Got Nick, the Vengeful Truth. Heartbender. I don't know. You know, he's okay. He'll be all right. Roland Thorne. Good to see you again, man. Good to see you. R. Allen. Good to see you. Nick, of course. You know, already mentioned him. And we've got Carpenter's Journey. Okay. All right. Good. I guess. Okay. Raging Tomato. I see you out there. How about that? Let's see what else we got. Who else we got? We got Shazzy Bear. Welcome. You and Serene both. Welcome to you guys. Good to see you in the chat. Let's see who else we got up here. Roland. I've already said Roland Thorne. All right. Cool. Michelle. Good. Good to see you. Good to see you out there, Michelle. Glad you like your bird. That was good. Let's see what else. Who else we got? I see the Joe Mobley show. I see Sylvar Ogre was in and dipped. Glenn Lawrence, if you're out there, you should pop on, my friend. You should pop on. If not, that's okay. And Ghost 1978 is here. I'm not sure. I got a mod in the house right now, so I may have to do some self-modding. I hope I don't have to, or I will just re-empower WMD. Your bird's already talking? Good deal. Adam Ant, welcome, sir. I'm not familiar with you, but glad to have you here. Guys, as you know, this is the day shift, so there's a lot less of the social issues and that sort of thing that we talk about, but we're going to really talk about some good stuff today. Joe Mobley, if you'd like to come up, that would be great. I will have to figure out how to get you the link, though, since I'm not sure that you Discord. If you do Discord, I will. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and post a Discord link now to my Discord. You guys are welcome to join. Don't start any trouble. The mods and I am very, very intolerant of nonsense. But other than that, it's a great place. We are very friendly otherwise, and it's a great Discord. I think it's a great Discord. So you're welcome to come out and hang out over there. Let's see. I did something goofy there. Go ahead and get this dropped up here. So if I'm going to put this question out to the chat. What do you guys think is the best? What do you guys think is the most important thing that we're overlooking in the current political environment? What do you guys think that is? Oh, I've got you, Joe Mobley. There you are. I'm going to message you right now. I'm going to give you the link right now. Give me that. Give me 1 sec. Boom, 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 boom. I'm very curious about this specific answer because I've had various answers to this question, and I'm really interested in what you guys think. The patriarchy keeps you in check, Michelle. Yes, you are our resident degenerate, but that's okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, Joe's young ones are sick, and he is dealing with it as a man, which means by himself. So security, border, and economy, where money comes from, right? Yeah, okay. Stupidity of electorate, I don't know about that. I think my internet's pretty good. I'm streaming here and watching here, and it's not goofing up for me, but that could be different. I actually started to watch the show on YouTube because I wanted to see what you guys were seeing. So that's it's probably is on your end. I'm hardwired in now. Healthcare, okay, healthcare. I like healthcare. You got an Alabama ID, so you can vote. Awesome, bro. Yeah, CT show gets pretty unhinged. That's pretty interesting. Okay. I think the biggest issue in our political spectrum right now is we have a lot of what I would consider extraneous laws that catch people out and are, in general, they're ignored by our governing body and then used or weaponized, depending on your viewpoint, to prosecute people at not when needed, but at will. If you understand my meaning, that's why I really need somebody up here to back this off of, because with just me giving a sermon, which I'm happy to do, it's going to be a little less exciting for everyone. So if Joe or Glenn or both want to come up here, I'll be glad to have you guys. The vengeful truth or division. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Actually, I think what I think is our legal system in this country is our legal system in this country is broken, and we need to fix it. And I don't know how. I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure how we go about that. But we used to have a very simple set of laws. Good day, Mr. Boulay. Good to see you out there. Hopefully you can lurk enough to keep chat in check, although most people are doing well. Judges, Heartbender, that's probably okay, but Ghost 1978 politics need to stay out of judiciary proceedings. Okay, I can do that. Jesus Mater on payroll. Okay, I don't know about that, but okay. All right, so I don't see the link on. I just sent it to you. It said the Joe Mobley Show. Let me look again. Oh, damn, hit my mic, man. Oh, I see what happened. There you go. You should have it now, brother. Yeah, I got you. Because I think this is going to be a really interesting conversation to have, because on the one hand, we have a legal system in this country. It should be the best in the world. And to some degree it is. There's I agree, less laws. Yeah. Prison should only, right. That's Heartbender's. Actually, I agree with that. We imprison too many people. Prisons become an industry. Beyond that, when we put people into prison, it used to be that you did your time, you paid your debt to society, whatever that was, and then that was the end of it. And then you could go out and buy guns again. You could get a job again. You could be a politician. You could be whatever you wanted to be once you paid that debt to society. Now you can't do that. And I don't know if you guys understand how truly deep this goes, but yes, thank you. I did do that actually. Thank you very much, Ghost. And I don't mean to thump the mic. You guys just gonna have to grow up and get used to it. But there's a huge disconnect between what law and order needs to be in society and what it is actually in society. It's my belief that there's no room for there's no room anymore for the legal system we have. It's literally sucking the air out of society. It's sucking the air out of the room. Yeah, and Silvar Ogre, yeah, right. Once the debt is paid, it should be over, free and clear. We'll see. I have it in 2 places, Raging Tomato. So that's how that does. But sometimes you guys say some really fucked up stuff, and I have to try and figure it out. And I'm like, what in the world is this moron trying to say? Not you, other people. By the way, guys, I use red Solo cups and string because you got a better tone. Tin cans, not the best. Red Solo cups and string. That's where you're at. Okay. All right. So, Kevin L., the judicial system is a business just like anything else in life. That's correct. Too much money is made off of court fees, probation, parole, and all the associated fees and testing are a part of those. That's right. Municipalities cannot get by without the revenue. They just can't. They cannot do it. They want to, I think, maybe, probably not though. Really, I mean, what do you think? Do you think there's at any point in time we're going to get to a point, or pardon me, do you think there could be a point in time where we're going to go to a more correct legal system? I think we have to. And we need to start it sooner rather than later. I forget what percentage of the population is currently incarcerated. I'm certain that somebody will know. But at the end of the day, it's too much. Michelle, the Christians pushing morality into the legal system is not the problem. The problem is the legal system is not moral. If, in fact, I would counter argue that if the Christians had more morality in the legal, were able to put morality actually into the legal system, the problem would decline. The problem is that our legal system is 100% immoral. It is not moral. It is 100% wrong. It is a money-making business. It has nothing to do with harm to others and everything to do with what the public health is. There's no public health in Christianity. That's not a thing. And you just can't, the ideal Christian system is no government in your life. That's how that's supposed to work. Unfortunately, we don't have that. So, so I don't, I just don't see the morality there. As far as the war on drugs, I never really agree. The thing is that there were better ways to do that. What is my prognosis as a fix? I don't have one. Why would I have one? I'm a talking head. 20% convicted felons. Okay, I believe that. Somebody, I forget who it was, said that the average American commits 4 felonies a day without knowing it. My prognosis to fix it. Andrew would say gays on the wall, drug dealers on the wall, open marriage wall. I say that's not conservative. I'm not sure what you mean on the wall, but yeah, one joint. Yeah, that's true. That's true. 13. So yeah, get the stones. Well, I mean, you know, there's something about that. Yeah, I mean, there's something to that. So the drug thing is that's a long discussion, because with drugs, I'm not as concerned with. I don't know. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll get that. We'll get that in a minute. We'll get to that. And my concern isn't necessarily the things that we make. Well, actually, it is. I think we have too many laws overall, and I think that we have laws that are very hard to follow and very hard to understand where you are with that law. Yeah, conservatives. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. So I think Andrew's take on it would, Michelle, would be that he doesn't want to know, and therefore that means that you should not try and make him know. It should be private, and it should not be brought into the public arena. I think that would be closer to what Andrew would say, but I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. Well, I will tell you what I say. I don't honestly care who you have sex with, Michelle. I've said this many times to you personally, because again, you know, me personally, I do not approve of your lifestyle, right? We agree on that, but that's your lifestyle. I don't ask you about it. I don't particularly want to hear about it. And here you conduct yourself in a way that you don't throw it in my face. When we kind of tease you about it, you're very low key about it. And I like that. That's why this dynamic can work. But if you have somebody who is literally trying to shove their beliefs down my throat 24/7, and not necessarily a belief, but their lifestyle, their whatever, that to me, because that crosses a line. I don't know where that line gets crossed. I couldn't point to it and say this is the line, but I know a line has been crossed. We're not talking about, well, again, free speech is not always free, right? I just no stones at your church. Christians help each other in culture. It was Chris. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I got it. So you're welcome to come up too, Michelle. Would you like a link? Somebody get Michelle a link. Oh wait, I didn't give Mr. Boulay a link. I got to do that. All right, give me 1 sec. Let's see. Do I have Michelle? I don't normally do panel shows during the day, but I'm feeling odd today for some reason. Okay. Cool. A lot of people offering to help. It's great. It's great. Good to see. So, all right. And sent. There you go, Michelle. I sent it to you. Yeah, I mean, right. I don't normally bring up people during the day, but I want to today because this is there's a point to this conversation. I've got to kind of let it naturally ebb and flow. And I hope to be able to do that without too much trouble. So, you know, and I know I seem a little disorganized, guys. It's Monday. Yeah, she's linked. Michelle's linked. She can come up. That's fine. So anyway, what I was going to say is, or where I'm going with this is, there's a very real disconnect between what really constitutes a crime and what is not a crime. And I personally believe that your lifestyle should never be a crime unless you are purposefully hurting people. Okay. For example, I have no problem with degenerates being degenerate. The problem is once it comes out of their walls and into the public purview, then we've got a problem, right? Then there's an issue. But in private, I don't care, right? We're doing it now, Michelle. You don't have to yell. You can talk in a normal voice. I didn't actually know that you were going to be in here, Michelle. So this makes it even better. If Michelle can't come up, that's totally fine. Tomato, you may come up if you would like. Someone please get her the link if she would like to come up. If she's working and cannot come up, I understand. That's totally fine. It is the day shift, and a lot of people are working. But yeah, all right. So let me kind of go back. Let me drift back in the other direction. So, but I'm gonna pick on Michelle for a minute. Okay, so I'm gonna pick on Michelle. She does, that's okay. Let's say that Michelle's lifestyle is not normal or not okay. It's not on me to judge her in that. Okay, that's God. God will judge her. Okay, she is respectful. That's very true. But let's just say that somebody, come on up, Sarah. That's fine. If you're going to be a degen, somebody please get Sarah the link. It's totally fine for you to be a degen in your home. Let's just say that you're out, public nudity, something like that. That should be a slap on the wrist. Go home. Don't do it again. If you can consistently do it, maybe you get mentally help. And this is where I'm going to go with this, Michelle. At some point, it's not a matter of it being criminal. There's a mental issue and it needs to be addressed. And what I think the problem is that our society is ignoring the fact that a lot of the criminal element or a lot of things that we perceive as being criminal are, in fact, mental health issues. I thought Shelby put it in the mods chat, but I just sent it to you, Mr. Boulay, and if I had scrolled a little further, I could have sent it to what's her name. Glenn has the link as well. Glenn, where are you at? Oh wait, I didn't hit enter when I sent my link. Whoops, my bad, Glenn, my bad. I apologize about that. I meant to send it way earlier, but I forgot. All right, so they do. I think they do need mental screening, right? And I think that a lot of the things that we've made laws don't necessarily are not things that people should be criminalized for. And I say that as a very staunch conservative, right? Well, I'm a conservative, so I believe in less government, not more. I believe in less laws, not more. But I also believe that there's a breakover point where what you're doing is against the public good and needs to be examined. Now, right, and this Arthur Dyer hits on something that I was working towards and I was going to get to, but we'll go ahead since she brings it up. You can do all the drugs you want, in my opinion. You could smoke crack cocaine every day for a week, but I don't want to pay for your rehab. Welcome, Sarah. How are you?
Hey, I had an issue getting on for a second there. But...
no worries. It's a different platform. I understand. A lot of people have issues with it.
Yeah.
So again, I'm sorry. I'm going to restart. So I was going to go to this where Arthur Dyer has kind of beat me to the punch here a little bit. I was leading towards this. I honestly don't care if you want to be a crack addict. I don't care if you need to use drugs. I don't care if you smoke pot. I don't care. I don't care. I honestly don't care about any of those things. What I care about is I don't want my tax dollars to pay for it. Okay. I don't want to pay for your hospitalization. I don't want to pay for your rehab. I don't want to pay for any of these things. if you can figure out a way to make that work, then great. If you can't, then there has to be some other thing, right? And it's just like, I don't care who you sleep with. I start to care. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So sorry. I was going to say that kind of follows the concept of like your right to privacy.
Sure.
This is kind of how like the LGBTQ community was able to kind of tap in, because it was like, oh, well, what you do behind closed doors is none of the government's business.
Mhm.
However, that's where, is it impeding on other people's rights, so on and so forth. But they were able to kind of push that through because, like, if they're getting married, so on, whatever, it's not really impeding on anybody else's rights.
Arthur Daya must have had too much coffee today.
I love Arthur Daya.
She is literally like spurging out in my chat.
That's okay.
It is okay. She's making good sense, but she's obviously had a little too much coffee.
Well, isn't she in the medical field? Like, don't they?
Yeah, she is. She is an emergent. I believe she's an emergency room anesthesiologist and critical care doctor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's highly trained to be highly trained. So she sees this all day, every day. And, like, as she says, she doesn't want her tax dollars to cover it. And she doesn't like that she's mandated to treat these things. And she says she paid $280,000 in income taxes alone last year. And, a large chunk of that money goes towards paying for programs for these people who choose to harm themselves. And this is, and I said that in a very careful way, because you're choosing to harm yourself. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So you got addicted, but you chose that path. It wasn't like you didn't know that drugs are bad. Okay.
Well, there's
we got
we
got 50 years of drugs are bad.
There's also other angles where you could look at other vices, such as going to McDonald's every day and end up with a heart
Absolutely.
attack.
Absolutely. I'm in that boat as well, right? Like, I don't believe that we should pay for, honestly, I don't believe that we should pay for healthcare for obese people. I don't believe that obese people should get preferential treatment on airlines. I don't believe that obese people should get preferential treatment in any aspect, because they do have control of what they put in their mouth. And if they have a legitimate health issue, then they can get help.
Yeah.
The problem is that, and of course, we don't criminalize yet obesity, but we do criminalize drug. And actually, I don't think most places, I don't think criminalize drug use. They only criminalize the possession, the manufacture, and the sales of drugs, which I'm okay with that to some degree. However, when we are spending $100,000 a year housing an inmate who sold a $30 joint, when we could have just, taken it away, smacked him on the head and said, "Don't do that again, kid." This is a problem I have, right? Like, we have a really messed up system that was never meant to exist. And while we're going down the path that I don't want to spend a lot of time on this specific path, because to me, it's a very simple thing. If you're going to do things to hurt yourself or endorse things that hurt yourself, first of all, I don't believe you should be able to endorse drug use, obesity, any of that kind of anything that's detrimental to mind, body, and spirit. I don't think you should be able to endorse that publicly. That's just me. Certainly freedom of speech exists, and you can do that. But at the same time, I don't believe that any tax dollars should ever be used to help people who choose to harm themselves. And I mean alcoholics, all of them, right? And my biggest issue, and this is, and look, I understand everybody expects me to talk about Israel, bombing Yemen today, Israel, literally bringing the house down on the Hezbollah leadership. I understand you guys all expect me to talk about that stuff, but everybody else has talked about that stuff ad nauseum. What we're not really talking about is the continuous creep of programs that spend our tax dollars to fund things that none of us agree with. And it does. I don't care what your reason for not agreeing with it is. You know, you can be like me and I just don't want to pay for it, and therefore I don't believe in it. Right? Like this is as simple as that to me. Now, I'm not even going to inject morality. I'm not going to inject religion. I'm not going to inject anything into it other than self-interest. I don't want to pay for people to be incarcerated because they drove on the wrong side of the street. Okay. I don't want to pay for people to be incarcerated because they own a firearm. I don't want to pay for these things, and I'm sick of paying for it. And I'm, you know what? I want to bring Joe in here because Joe is a former corrections officer and a law enforcement officer and an investigator. So he is uniquely qualified to speak to all of this.
I was not an investigator.
Oh, I thought you were. Sorry.
No, I was not one of the 1811s on the task force, which is an easy thing to mix up because exceedingly rare. I may be the only. Well, there are probably some people with PhDs, but people that kind of rose to my level, teaching, instructing, and writing curriculum for state, federal, and local law enforcement typically are active 1811s or former 1811s. So I might be one of the only ones who's not, but I don't want to pull a Tim Walls here. I've done what I've done and nothing more. I just jumping back to the beginning of you kind of leading into this, you said a number of things that just hit the nail on the head and kind of get at the law and the criminal justice apparatus is being used as a weapon, lording over the people. It's kind of that indicator of tyranny when the government fears the people, there's freedom. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny. And the reason the people fear the government is because of lawfare. It's because there are so many frivolous laws on the book. I forget who said that too. It's a famous quote. The average American commits, about 4 felonies a day. But you said something, and I was like, "This is Berea. The show me the man, and I will show you the crime." This is classic Soviet Union communist takeover.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
if we point this weapon at you, there's nothing you can do. We will find something.
Yeah, our legal system has been weaponized against the citizenry.
100%.
And you can't deny it. And it doesn't matter where you are. So so people think that it's just conservatives going after druggies, just Christians going after degenerates, what? No. So one of the things I was watching this morning is there was a guy who has a YouTube channel. It got pretty big, and he did, he was a class 2 or 3 dealer. So he's able to manufacture, I think it was class 2 with him, or class 3 with SOT. So he was able to manufacture suppressors and machine guns. And he did so on his channel. And a lot of what he was doing was actually showing you that, hey, if you do this, this is against the law. Do not do this. And the ATF has him currently locked up. I think he's actually been convicted on 5 out of 7 charges, and one of them is absolutely the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. That he somehow sold 6,000 machine guns to somebody, which he's like, I never did that, and they're trying to they have since modified it to some ghost gun clause. So this is a conservative that's getting caught up in this. Well, okay, on the other side, you have people every day getting wrapped up for selling, selling or not selling, but getting caught with a joint and some drugs and alcohol in their car, which again, I don't agree with it, but I also don't agree with spending $100,000 a year to house someone that had $50 of drugs on them. Right? Like there has to be a happy medium. Right there, we are and
even if there's no happy medium, there's no one, right or left, economist or simple math 5th grader, who can make that make sense.
Right. There's no way you can. Right.
And what happens when that inmate gets cancer?
Right. Although
Who
we have
pays
to pay for that. Right,
Yeah,
we have to-
exactly.
What happens with when because of his drug use, his liver fails in prison?
Oh yeah, lots of prisoners on dialysis. Yeah.
So this is my problem, man. This is my problem. Like, why are we doing what? We take away the stuff, we seize his vehicle, and now he get, and that's it, right? Just send him back home and let him learn his lesson. And if he hasn't learned his lesson, then he gets caught again and the same thing happens, and over and over and over again. That's fine.
And then the biggest thing that they take away from ex-con, the biggest thing they take away from a con is their freedom. It's their income earning opportunities and their
Right.
ability to be a productive member of society post incarceration. The whole thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really bad. And so I have a friend of mine, and when I was in Denver, he's a really good kid. He worked construction, so it didn't really affect him too much, but he got a DUI. And because he was an out of state, because he had an out of state license, he was DUI in one specific area of Denver. Oh, and Glenn is a correction officer too. Glenn, did you pop in and I not see you? Are you in here? I don't see him. Glenn, come up, sir. Don't hide. All right, he's not here. Come on up, Glenn. I see you there. But this kid, he was a kid. He's 21. Now he does 21-year-old stupid things. He goes to bars. He goes to strip clubs. He does stupid things. He's 21-year-old kid. So he gets a DUI. Now the judge knows that this kid is a 21-year-old construction worker. He's not making a ton of money. He makes money, but he doesn't make, he's not making 50, 60 grand a year. Just doesn't care. The law says it's a $10,000 fine right off the bat. To get his car back was like $2 grand because it was in impound. Once he got his car back, he had to have a mobilizer system put in it. I don't know what that cost, but it was expensive. Then he had to go to class every week for his DUI school thing. And if he missed one, he had to start over, and they fined him. And he obviously he couldn't earn money while he's sitting there in DUI class. So this kid is like, what am I going to do, man? I'm totally fucked. Like, I can't make money. I don't have a truck to get, I can get back and forth to work a few times, asking buddies to give me a ride. And I ended up helping him out a little bit. But our system should not be a system at all. That's my biggest problem. Is I disagree with the concept that we should have a legal system. We should simply have law enforcement, corrections. They do their job. That's it. We don't need all of this extraneous stuff. You can't even the number of agencies that are involved in law enforcement in the United States are so numerous you cannot name them because there's just too many.
Don't even get me started. Same thing in intelligence. I bet $10. No one in the chat. You have 15 seconds to do this because you guys can Google.
Yeah.
Actually, there's more. You have 30 seconds to do this. I bet no one in the chat can name all the intelligence agencies because they just create ones every other Tuesday. Again, look, guys, I'm not a simp for Grid One. I don't find him to be an unreasonable man at all. I feel like these are the
where that comes from, right?
Hold.
You know where that comes from? We're boring poor Sarah to death. So An Unreasonable Man comes from a 1907 play by George Bernard Shaw, who was, by the way, a raving socialist communist lunatic. But like most lunatics, they say some smart things once in a while.
Yeah.
And so he had this play of men and I told you we were boring her to death, of men and supermen. And the premise is that because hypergamy exists and the best women were going to marry the best men and they were going to have the best kids who would marry each other and blah, 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 eugenics would happen and you would have the Morlocks down here and the really cool kids up here. And that would be that, that would be what we would have. And of course, it's been 100+ years. That hasn't happened. he was wrong. But one of the things he said was this quote was really good, and it is a reasonable man looks at the world and conforms to it. An unreasonable man looks at the world and forces it to conform to his desire, personality, whatever.
Am I making this up? Isn't this a mantra at business school? Am I making this up?
Well, it's in a lot of places. It's in a lot of places.
Yeah, I
Can
feel
you
like
hear
I've
me
heard
now?
this.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, because I was talking earlier. I think because like I had a call come through, and I think it just kind of messed me up.
Oh
But I was still on, so I didn't think there was anything wrong. And then I said a couple things, and you just kind of, well, you didn't ignore it, obviously. But I was like, oh, he just ignored
Well,
it.
I wasn't ignoring. I was even like, well, we bored her to death. She's gone to sleep.
I figured it was just the thing. I wanted to ask you what you think about like other countries that do more I would say like more like rehabilitation instead of prison, that just to, you know, like here we imprison people and it's just kind of like you did bad, stay in this place. We feed you, we clothe you, we take care of you, and then we kick you out and hopefully you do better. Like we punish.
I'm
Whereas
going to
other
get to that. Let
countries-
me finish the
Oh,
thing
sure.
with Joe, and we're going almost right there. So the so the complete quote is that the unreasonable man looks at the world and forces it to conform to his ideal. Therefore, all change must come from unreasonable men, and that's why I chose An Unreasonable Man as the title of the show, because all change, and and a lot of people use that part of the quote, that all change must come from unreasonable men. A lot of theater, a lot of people use that part of it, but
to Sarah's point, to rehabilitate, number one, we would need to have nut houses, and we don't have nut houses, like Grid pointed out 10 minutes ago. We just have, the options are jail and fines and all of this.
Right. So I'm gonna, and it is the perfect time to address Sarah's observation. In other countries, prison is somewhere you never want to be. You will do everything possible to avoid prison. It is absolutely horrible to even conceive of prison in most countries, because more than likely, if you go there, you're going to die there. Right? That's just the way it is. In this country, prison is better for many people than their normal life. You know, in other countries, they go to prison, they don't have TV, they don't have a life, right? And manual labor is a real thing, right? Like going out, road gangs, cleanup crews, all of that. At the end of the day, I think that we should devolve prison. Prison should be a place that nobody in their right damn mind wants to go, ever. And it should be shorter terms. It should be hard labor. It should be prisoner funded. And once they get out, that's it. They're done. Like their record is sealed. It's like it may appear on a background check as, hey, this person was convicted of X crime and did X number of years, but that's it. And a person should be able to move on with their life. So right now, the problem with our system is that if Joe Mobley screws up and gets a DUI and hits somebody, and he goes to jail for vehicular assault or homicide or whatever, literally every single employer that he will ever interview with will find that probably before they've ever even talked to Joe Mobley, and they will make the decision for that, right? Like that's the way it is, you know. And I find that to be I find that to be anti-American. I think it's the most anti-American thing that we currently have in this country. Once you pay your debt to society, the only reason we have prison in this country was as a way for a man to screw up, And instead of being exiled, he could earn his way back into society. We don't do that anymore. And that's a big problem in that. So I don't know if that answers your question, Sarah.
Well, like I think it's what was it, like Sweden or something, where they do actual like rehabilitative style prison, for instance, and it's developed to actually, you know, incentivize them to want to be good people and so on. So whereas I feel like our prison system here is a lot more like you go in, you do your time, you get out and figure it out. And you get a halfway house maybe, or you get this or that. But
honestly, Sarah, it depends on what they did, because it's not like getting an MBA or I'm not one to say that inmates shouldn't be able to get degrees, but for certain things, the pursuit of justice means you are being punished,
right,
not rehabilitated. And for some people who have done things because of reasons that maybe would require or lean towards a rehabilitative issue, they should have gone to a nut house. We don't have those because it's mean. And I should have known. I should have known that there was some nefarious reason that they got rid of those types of medical institutions. And it laid the groundwork for what we have today, where relativism is reigning supreme, and people are like, I feel like a female chihuahua, therefore I am a female chihuahua. But prison ought to be scary. You ought to hope that they dispatch with you before, you know, while you were committing your crime, so you don't get there. Because if it's not a serious consequence, then people who commit crimes aren't going to take it seriously. And I'll tell you, the 2 years that I spent up close and personal with inmates, they did not take our justice system seriously. They were like, there's nothing, these networks of gangs are so integrated, there's nowhere you can send them where they're not immediately plugged in to their lifestyle and to their little criminal contemporaries. It's a prison here is a social club. It really is.
Yeah,
they just can't leave.
Got to make your bones somehow.
Contained the social club.
Unless you are charged with, you know, very specific class of, then those guys, they're on site.
So Glenn also was a correction officer in California.
Man.
Yeah, no, actually I was a corrections officer for the feds up in Washington.
Oh, the feds up
and then I went to state. So
you're talking about Chester. It's not a good time for Chester, and nor should it be a good time.
It's never a good time for. And the funny thing is, like, they're the ones that out themselves, and I think they do it because they want to get PC'd.
Glenn, they're saying your mic is at 300%. That or your
so what you want me to do? Like talk like this?
I don't know.
Sounds okay on my end.
Yeah,
it's a little hot on my end, but it's whatever.
Is it hot? Like, I mean, it looks pretty. I mean, I think it's a hot mic.
So let me put this out here, and I honestly, I kind of want Sarah to answer first, because I think I already know what you two are going to say. So let's just say that we did restructure our criminal codes so that, first of all, it was much simpler, and it was literally as simple as, if you have a drug on this list for personal use, it's a fine. You go on about your day, and we confiscate, maybe we confiscate your personal items, or if you were transporting it in a car, we confiscate the car, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. But you go home, and hopefully you don't do it again, because your wallet hurts so bad that it's a big thing. But if you're caught with over a certain amount, it's full stop. You go to prison. You're sentenced to hard labor, right? Like there's no TV time. There's no, like your day.
How does my mic sound now? Is it still hot?
Yeah, it's great. No, you're fine. So there's no TV time. There's no gym to work out in. There's no hot tub at the end of the day. It's you get up, you go to breakfast, You do 4 hours of hard labor. You go to lunch. You do 4 more hours of hard labor. You have dinner. You have 2 hours of reading time in your cell, and it's lights out. And you do that every day for a year, or 10 years, or whatever it is, whatever your sentence is. And there's no argument about it. Which would you do? Or pardon me, do you think that that would be a better system than what we have now?
Let me make sure I heard you correctly. So either like you get charged with a crime for some type of drug you had or something like that. You either pay a fine or they confiscate certain property, so on and so forth, or you go do jail time that's hard labor that would equivalent to that difference.
So let me just clarify. So let's say that you're caught with a joint, or maybe 2 joints, or 4, whatever. But it's a small amount. It's obviously for personal use, and you're not selling it. There's no signs of you sell. Nobody saw you sell it. You just happen to have, a meth laced joint in your car, right? Let's just we'll add meth in there, just because I know a lot of people think pot is harmless. Meth laced joint. Cop looks over the car. It's obviously for personal use. He seizes your car because you're transporting drugs. He impounds it. Maybe you have to pay a fine to get it back. Takes all your drugs and sends you home in a cab, or you spend the night in jail and you go home. Very simple, very easy, no big deal. On the other side of that, he pulls you over. You have 8 pounds of pot, 2 pounds of crystal meth, and some coke in the car, and it's and you've got a dealer pack of hundreds, and it's obvious that you are dealing, right? And maybe they've got some videos. Yeah, maybe they got some. Go ahead.
I said, I find it strange that you know those words, like those terms, so well.
I mean, how many cell phones do I have on me in this car?
Right. Yeah,
because if I have one cell phone,
I've had a life.
I've
had a life. I know people that hurt people professionally.
And how many of them are burner phones? If any of them are on a plan, you really can't consider me a dealer, because the dealers use burner phones.
Professionals also have multiple phones.
Yeah,
that's true. But
using a phone.
Joe, you're black, so you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I know people that hurt people for a living. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But go ahead,
Sarah.
Well, I think you were finishing. So you get caught with all of this crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, you get caught with something that, and maybe they got a video of you making a drug deal or something, and not even a drug deal next to a school, just a drug deal on the corner, down in El Barrio, whatever. And they, cop picks you up. It's obviously you're dealing. You get two years of hard labor in prison for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that those are fair ways of looking at it? Would you say that that would help solve the problem?
Well, we're looking at like for the private stock per se, like paying a fine or whatever. That seems kind of reasonable to a degree. And then also, if you're caught with purposes of distribution, and it's presumed and deems fit that you're distributing, now you're going to like where you're impeding on other people's health and safety, so on and so forth. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that that's a bad concept. In terms of what you're not giving me necessarily 2 options. You're giving me 2 situations, and here's what could happen. Like, am I agreeable to
okay, all right. Let's say, okay, which would be the better option? What I described were hard labor, a couple of years, or 10 years with possibility of parole in 3, and you're at club, you're at the local, not even a club fed, like just a not even max, you're just down at the local prison. You're on the block with with all your boys from the hood that they got locked up.
What block are you on? D block or D block? It matters.
I don't know, bro. I don't know the blocks. My knowledge doesn't run that deep. I have not been to prison, but my knowledge doesn't run that deep. But you're there with all your friends. You're still making deals. You have a cell phone in prison. You're still, you're still running your little gang outside.
Yeah, but you had to keister that cell phone.
Now, wait a minute. I was gonna say,
that prison wallet is a hardcore thing, man.
Now, am I the leader of the gang? Because this, or am I like one of the minions? Because this could determine whether I want to be there or not. So you're saying, would I rather do like a couple years of hard labor for a crime?
No, I'm saying, would you rather the criminal be punished by the current system that basically it's probably better than their life outside, or
still have the social life, or would you rather them go and do a couple years of hard labor? Nothing extraneous. They don't have a full-on Gold's Gym facility. They don't have like
a big screen TV. They don't have any of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're.
I'm boiling it down. Do you think prison should be prison, or do you think prison should be, summer camp?
Well, I think we have to look at a couple things, because you want to look at like the mental health of a person who's just like slaving away all day and doing rigorous work, and but it is considered a punishment, right? But are we inevitably like driving them to be insane? I don't know. This is why like solitary doesn't necessarily work for people either, because it makes them more crazy. But I don't think it should be a social hangout and being able to have like, you're just taking the outside and containing it inside of a prison. So I think there should be some type of mediation to that portion of it. But if they get put into a prison for, let's say, 10 years and they're doing like option A, where they're just, work, no play, then when you release them out into the wild, now they no longer know how to socialize either. So it's kind of a catch-22. You want to punish them, but also the punishment inevitably is going to turn them into a crazier fool by the time they get out. So I don't really have an answer to that, because you're kind of pinned either way.
Okay, now the men can answer.
You want me to
Joe,
go first, Glenn?
You could go first, my friend.
If we have an honest justice system that is pursuing justice,
well, there you go. That's going to be the first place to start.
Yeah, if we're assuming that, then it should be brutal, bordering on inhuman. It shouldn't be strange and unusual. It shouldn't be torture and strange and unusual punishment, but it should be so undesirable that, just like you mentioned before, the thought of it is enough to keep people away from those poisonous fruits. And you see it in behavior. As awesome as my wife is, my punishments for the children are worse than her punishments. And that doesn't just mean a spank. That means like, I will take the day if I need to and figure out how to make a punishment address a specific infraction so that it sucks, but it's also corrective in nature. My kids do not want that. And so because of that, when my justice system is presented before them, their behavior is notably different. They're very good kids when they're just with mom, but they're bordering on angelic when they're with dad. And it's because of the threat that justice system brings to bear. Go ahead, Glenn.
So I'm pretty much just going to be echoing what you said. I think the incarceration needs to be corrective in the sense of it needs to be a deterrent for any future infractions, but also I think it's also a time for education in the sense of you have some members that are in prison have license skills that they are, they hold professional licenses. I think that it would only do society better for them to continue to practice their professional licenses within the confines of the institution. Like if they're a contractor, then they could be working with the contracting team that would be renovating the facilities under the supervision of the COs. And if they don't have a skilled profession, this is the time that those individuals could to learn a skilled profession by starting off as a laborer under those professionals that are residents there. I think men need to have a purpose, and there's nothing better for them to do is focusing on a purpose. So whether that is a skill and that they could become marketable once they are, released from prison. But as you mentioned, Grid, that it should be the inmate funded. So how are they going to gain revenue? Well, they better use those skills that they have, and that the you know how many prisons have like the inmates doing the dry cleaning? Like we had inmates doing my dry cleaning when I was a CO. Like they end up learning a skill. We didn't, that saved money.
Yeah, I agree
So
with that.
I mean, we could do that, and then but make it miserable. Like
It has to hurt, right?
The only thing that you get to eat is what you are able to afford to eat from whatever commissary money that they end up giving you for your job that you do every day.
So let me make a couple of observations. First, chat. There's like 4 conversations going on. I can't follow them. If you want to interact with the panel, either grab a link and get vetted and come up although we're full right now. I won't do more than 4 today. Second, the other way is you can super chat. I prefer if you're going to super chat to do TTS, please do it on Streamlabs and not YouTube. That just works out better that way. If you're going to just send up a super chat on YouTube, feel free to. But that's really, I cannot focus on the 3 or 4 conversations that are going on in chat right now. You guys have spurred out and gone absolutely nuts. Now, to Glenn's point, are you guys aware of the CVCC?
The what?
The Civilian Conservation Corps. Back in Roosevelt's time, it was a socialist program put in by a socialist president. However, it was.
I didn't get to finish, but
I'm sorry.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I'll say make it quick. The reason why I think they need to be able to earn is because they need to be able to earn to pay down their restitution that they're still going to have to owe once they're released. So there has to be a penance, and the penance still needs to be done, and there should be a restitution, money owed to whoever, is the injured party, whether that's the state or whether that's a family or whoever, business, whatnot. And yeah, that's how it should be. It should be like,
why wouldn't that be a civil matter?
It's like most people that when they get convicted, they used to hold or they would attach a restitution to the crime. So if you rob somebody, you're going to serve the time in prison for the crime. But if you robbed and damaged, property, then you also going to pay a restitution to the injured party.
I think legally it's better for them to file a separate civil suit instead of getting restitution in the courts. I think I forget how it works, but there's a way where, like with restitution and filing a civil suit, because you could still file a civil suit, and it's even easier to, like with the show cause and everything, it's easier to push that, and also because the burden of proof is lighter as well. So if you push for restitution on I think it's on a criminal case, then I think you mess up your abilities to. I could be wrong, but I think that's how it works.
Some of the times it actually goes hand in hand. Like part of if you damage somebody's property in the middle of a crime that you're committing,
right.
The judge will attach that restitution to because it was done while you were committing the crime that got you in court in the first place. Yeah, so I think the restitution should stay together, because then this individual or the party that you've injured that you owe restitution to is now going to have to worry about going through civil litigation with you, which once you're released, and that's the restitution is part of the release. like you have to pay this. If you're not paying this by X amount date, then you could actually be in contempt and actually have to go back to prison. And I think that's the only way to keep those individuals accountable. So I think it's actually better to keep that all in one court rather than two.
Yeah. So I think that there's I think the state can actually, if it's part of a part of a criminal proceeding, I don't believe that's dischargeable in a bankruptcy. I don't know that, but I think that's true. But and my problem with it though is that it's often abused by prosecutors to add weight to what to what they're being charged with. So I don't like that. Anyone else want to go in on that before I go into the how the prison could pay for itself?
I do think that the threat, like kind of what Joe was referring to, I think the threat kind of does depend on the person, though, because to some of these people, that's not a threat. Like, don't threaten me with a good time, right? And to some of them, it's still a better situation than the one that they were in.
Sure.
Because they're getting 3 square meals a day, medical insurance, and
Oh, they got the best medical, man. Like if they need a heart transplant, if I ever need a heart transplant, I'm robbing a bank. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be the first person.
You're gonna be sitting on the steps. Take
Like,
me now.
yo, I'm gonna be like, oh, doctor says I need a liver. Cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
Joe, I'm gonna rob you, okay? And then I'm gonna give you it back, but you need to call the cops instead of pointing a gun at you. All right. I got some medical I need done.
That's funny. That's very funny.
But yeah,
He's
I do
right.
think it has to be the fear of, but I think the fear of has to be worse than what you're already living through to begin with, So I think that that's a good point, but we have to consider the source of the people.
Yeah. So I do think that the prisons need to be self-funded, more or less, and they need to be owned by the state. I'm very much against private prisons right now. Initially, I thought it might be a good idea, but there's never, honestly, it's just horrible. So back in the 1930s, and it ran from like I think from 30 to like 44, I think, something like that. I don't know, somewhere along in there. The CCC was the Civilian Conservation Corps, and they set up camps basically, and they built post offices, government buildings. They built railroad trestles. They did all of this hard work for the state, for the federal government, for whoever the local whatever needed to be done. They did it, and that's how the prisons need to be operated. We should not be we should not be paying $3 million for a road to be improved. We have a massive workforce that we can put to work building roads, improving roads, rebuilding post offices, fixing their own prisons. And as Glenn said, a lot of these guys have skills. And even if they don't have the skills, they can certainly learn them. And then maybe
a lot of the reasons, sorry, Grid, but a lot of the reasons why they even enter into criminal activity is because idle hands is the devil's playground. They don't have anything going for them. They don't have a skill set. They're robbing, stealing, and doing dumb shit because they have the time to, because they don't have an employable, skill. Well, now you send them to prison. They have to bust their ass every single day and make it like labor, serious, hard, grueling labor. And now they have a skill that once they leave, they could, be a productive member to society. If it's not about, correction and, and correction is not just like.
That's a great point, Glenn. We're talking about correction, not rehabilitation.
Exactly. It's a big difference. Correction.
Rehabilitation is what I do to my leg to fix it. We're talking about correcting bad behavior. Rehabilitation is a pipe dream. It's not a good term to use.
Yeah, and one more thing, Joe, I have a really good punishment for your kids. This is what I did with my sons. So I made them do squats, and like I had stairs, right? So their butt had to touch the bottom stair. They had to break 90 degrees every single time, and they had to do them in sets of 100. And now, if that doesn't work, then do you have a yard?
Yep.
Okay, so you give them a ruler, okay, and a pair of scissors, and you tell them that you want them to go cut the lawn. Each blade of grass needs to be 2 inches and not any longer or shorter. If you find one blade of grass not 2 inches, they have to redo it and go down to an inch.
I normally go along the lines of the second one. Exercise works great. A former Army guy here. That's a great acronym for you guys. Former Army guy. And
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
Well, when you switch from active duty to guard or reserve, they call you former action guys or former action guys. Anyway, got the t-shirt. I'm actually wearing an Army shirt today. That's kind of funny. But no, I tell them all the time. Sometimes it's just pure exercise. Sometimes if it's legal where you're watching, then a spank. If it's illegal where you're watching, then your state is trash and you should move because you should spank children. But the exercise in pursuit of some other action, it's just got to be the right action, though. It can't be like loading the dishes or like washing dishes. Something's going to get broken. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I really need to figure out like how long is it going to take them to do this task if they've got to like iron Mike to put away clothes one clothing item at a time. And I figure it out, I game it out, and I'm like, yes, this is it. You're going to fold and put away these items of clothing one item at a time. And it takes so long. And if I see them screw up, then I'm going to go get those items and I'm going to dump them on the floor like a drill sergeant and say, start over from zero. And it's just like, it sucks so bad. You're absolutely right. I've not done the lawn though. That
was the most fun.
It would take them forever. I don't think they could actually.
No, you don't really make them do the whole time, like, because they're never going to do it. But it's just like that look that they have at 6 a.m. when they have to march downstairs and you hand them the scissors and the ruler and you're like, go cut the lawn 2 inches. And they're sitting out there just like looking at how big the lawn is and they start crying when they know that there's no way in hell they're going to get through this. It's priceless.
I'm going to check out your channel, Glenn. This is too much. You sound like too much of a kindred spirit. I'm going to pull it up. Is it Glenn Lawrence? Is it just your name?
Glenn Lawrence.
All of the people on this panel, except for me, have been in the military.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But you probably shoot better than all three of us that's been in the military. So,
false.
Okay.
But he's right if it's just military training. Some of the military's firearm training is trash.
They do it like once every 3 years. Some of the MOSs. The other thing that I did, like I never had to spank my son after he was 3 years old. And everything was done either like through physical fitness. Or like I would make him fold the laundry 6-inch squares. Oh, I would have my ruler.
Hey,
6-inch squares.
Great. I've got my eldest is probably about to walk in the door, and I don't want her to hear a conversation about cruel punishment. She might get some.
6-inch squares, Sarah. 6-inch squares.
I love you, Glenn. But thanks for letting me come on, and it was a good conversation. And I'll catch you guys around on the other side.
Hey, Sarah, we hope that finishing works out for you eventually.
You finishing?
Yeah. Oh, that was a callback. You didn't get it though. It's all good.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Thank you, Sarah, for being on. That was great. And it was a lot of actually a fair amount of good input. So
I'm paying attention. I'm just early survey results coming in are saying that people do want a Discord, so I'm kind of setting up a Discord server. It's kind of mindless.
We're gonna bring you kicking and screaming into the current day. So
apparently. Hey, I'm back on YouTube. Give me a freaking break, Grid.
Dude,
Always
I gave,
busting my balls.
I gave what's his name? Beaten Cheeks yesterday. I gave him so much crap for being on Rumble. I was like, this sucks so bad. Why are you even on Rumble? And he's like, blah, 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 freedom of speech. And I'm like,
I like
read
it.
your current terms of service.
I get decent engagement over there. But I've had so many headaches about Rumble. I mean, I'm a guy, my website, if you guys go to my web, I built that website from the ground up. It was less of a headache than streaming on Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that
So
same
you're not
thing.
Yeah, you're not completely wrong, but
Yeah. Guys, in the chat, it's 10 minutes and we'll start taking probably one at a time. We'll take some callers if you guys want to come up, ask questions, get clarification, whatever, or just, rant for a minute. That's cool too. But, so we'll get, just let us know, let a mod know, and we'll get you guys up here. So, because we're entering that last hour and a half that I use for callers. Callers can take some time, so you have to start early. So I think that, it's interesting that most people, I think, are in agreement that the legal system or the crime and punishment system in this country is severely flawed. You know what? I think enforcement has gotten really good. And I think that more cops than ever understand that they have, a lot of discretion in the way that they enforce the law. So although a lot of them in specific,
I think that depends on where you're at. I think a lot of police officers in like major metropolitan areas, their hands are tied.
Yeah, well,
and they're limited in scope of what they could do.
Was it you or Joe that I was telling? So I know a cop, and he's probably like a 30-year cop in San Francisco area. I'm not going to say which area, but he's in the San Francisco area. And he's literally told me that they never get out of their car unless something's literally happening in front of them. And even then, it has to be like somebody's going to basically die in front of them for them to get out of the car, because otherwise they'll get called, they'll get blamed for being too aggressive. They'll get, it's just they'll get some kind of complaint. It's just a low percentage for them in that area. So they would just rather not deal with the public at all. And so their discretion is just not get involved unless you are literally the caller and you literally point and say, I want that guy arrested. And other than that, I would not think that you're going to get a cop in San Francisco. It's going to do anything. And I actually had a detective in the San Francisco area, super nice guy. He said that he tried to arrest an addict who was shooting up on the porch of this lady's house, and the lady came out and yelled at him for literally removing the person that was about to break into her house so he could go get another fix. He was literally, that's what his next move was he had a wrench and he was going to bust in the window. And the detective's like, you know what? Next time I'm just going to leave him here and let him break in because obviously, nobody appreciates the law enforcement out there. But I think in other areas of the country, law enforcement is appreciated. And I think that I applaud a lot of police officers for realizing the amount of discretion that they have and that they tend not to want to jam somebody up if they don't absolutely have to. So I think we've gotten better there, but on the actual, the actual court phase of it is terrible these days. Yeah, go ahead. So I don't know. I don't know how you look at that. That's a hilarious video or icon.
Thanks.
That's hilarious.
All right, back, guys.
Yeah. What do you think, Glenn? Glenn?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I didn't get the last part. I was on the phone call. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
What was that last part?
What do you think about that? Cops are using discretion more in a lot of areas and not jamming people up, but at the same time, they're also getting their their teeth kicked in oftentimes in other areas.
Oh yeah,
when they try and enforce the law.
Yeah,
And
like,
I think that we much more need to focus on who's punishing who for what, more than we need to focus on the actual the police. I think everyone focuses on the police because those are the faces you see. We need to be far more concerned with the courts and prison system.
Yeah, like I think we need to let police.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely re-educate is definitely probably something I would advise.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the police don't know the use of force. I guarantee you they know the fifth and was it the 14th Amendment and what is it, the 7th Amendment? I think it is 9th Amendment. Whatever is cruel and unusual punishment, and I forgot the other one already. But like I'm pretty sure they have them memorized. So they know the use of force. And I mean, because they beat that in our heads, when I was doing corrections, and we trained, we cross-trained with a lot of the like state police and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they probably need to do is not necessarily train them in use of force, but train them in, procedural stuff, but here's the thing, like if the cops don't feel capable, empowered, that they could do their job without risking end up being the next cop, head on the chopping block, you're going to lose good cops. And that's what we've seen. We've seen tons of good cops leave like the city police and they would go into the sheriff's department, or they'll go into they'll transfer out and go, move to a different state that's going to be more favorable, right, to them. So that's part of the problem. I think we need to let the police, hold them accountable when they do wrong. Like, don't give them any, slack. If anything, go harder on them, because they are supposed to be the standard. They are to protect and serve. So they got to stay true to that standard. But at the same time, not micromanaging them and not making everything, a big ordeal. Sometimes inmates or those that are getting, detained, they bring a lot of the whooping onto themselves. All they have to do is comply. If they follow directions and comply, then they would not experience any increase of force upon them.
Right.
So a lot of it, it's the dumbass that doesn't want to listen. So I think that we need to empower our law enforcement, definitely retrain them and then train them to be more effective.
See, I think a lot of that training's already happened, because like there was an instance last year in the BNA airport, and I actually had CT played on his stream the other day, where this young lady, apparently very angry about something, used her phone in her hand to punch a lady who was just walking in her face. It's interesting that Rob Knorr, by the way, literally just posted his, what he's streaming right now? What should we replace the FBI with? It's like it's mental. It's like I'm tapped in, man. It's like I'm wired in to all of these things. Rob Knorr, Normal America. Have you watched Rob Knorr?
I've not, but let me answer his question. We should not replace the FBI with anything. That was a sham from the start. There was already the federal U.S. Marshal Service, and they can obviously serve as a pass-through entity for local and state law enforcement. In my opinion about executive and administrative agencies, is it's bull crap to me that they can be born out of the stroke of the pen of the president, but they can't be done away with. So if I'm president, I'm not running for president, but let me tell you guys my 100-day plan. My 100-day plan would be to be president for 100 days, and then I'll let the vice president figure it out. And during those 100 days, I would tell the IRS, who investigates you for for like precog-esque crimes, and they don't even tell you how much. They have you play this guessing game.
Yeah, the damn Minority Report bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I would give out pink slips and I would say, hey, you all have 9 months to find a new job, because at 6 months, this agency is going down to 10, 20% staffing. And at the end of a year, this agency is gone. It is gone. And I would incentivize it, because their salary is already it's already appropriated funds. So when they leave, the sooner you leave, the bigger bonus check you get. So you got 9 months to find a new job. If you leave at 1 month, then I'll give you half the difference of the remaining months. So if you leave at 6 months, then you only get 1.5 months of a bonus, of a good for you. You found a new job. Here's your bonus check. And I would do away with that agency. I would do away with huge numbers of agencies. And then, if you guys decided to bring these agencies back, it's ridiculous. And Congress can reappropriate the funds or not. They could let those funds expire and pay down some debt. I don't care what Congress does with it. Congress could give themselves a raise. I don't care. These executive and administrative agencies, their functions and the way that they essentially create laws and then imprison you for breaking them. See the ATF and their freaking regulations. I don't even bother to read them because I don't. And that's a totally different episode.
Oh, can I do my 100 days? Can we do 100 days?
Yeah,
I want to do my 100 days. Like, all right, day one, get rid of the FBI, because that literally is just the president's Gestapo. Thank you very much. I said it. They're the president's Gestapo. All right. And then day two, abolish the IRS, period. We'll do a flat tax across the board. You guys can send it in on a little postcard. All right. Or we'll just do, sales tax, just tax, whatever. And then day three, kick out all the women that are in Congress and tell them to get their ass back in the kitchen. They need to work on their baking skills, and tell them that this is no place for them. This is a man's world again. And then day four, anybody that's serving life in prison will be executed, because I think it's cruel and unusual punishment to keep them in prison and let their life rot away. I think they're better off just dead, and better off, they're not a tax burden on the taxpayers. And yeah. And then never mind. Oh, I'll do the whole divorce law, get rid of that, send it back to the church, and the state will federal government no longer be involved in marriage.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And let's see.
We were talking about this morning on Joe's show.
Women will have a curfew of 7:30 p.m. because that's when dinner's supposed to be cooked. All right. There you go. Vote for President Lawrence.
That one is up for discretion. I like to eat dinner around 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have to be home no later. Dinner can't be done no later than 7.
Yeah.
All right.
But it has to be on the table at 6, which means you have to be home at 5. I'm sorry.
That means that has to be plated, and the plate has to still be warm.
Mm.
And I don't want no microwave. I know the difference between the plate being microwaved and
He knows the difference.
These are our platforms are kind of ridiculous, but hey, I'd vote for 90.
Hey, you know what? They're not nearly as ridiculous as what we're seeing right now. I mean, you guys have dumbed it down a lot.
The delivery, though. I mean, I it wasn't because I disagreed. I just laughed at the delivery. You were like, life in prison. There was like the perfect comedic pause, and then you were like, executed.
Yeah, just execute them. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's true though. Like, look,
you're right.
They ain't doing anything with their life. They're costing us money. I'm trying to save American
they're learning
taxpayers.
law. They're learning law to be able to get their to file endless appeals to choke up my court and cost the taxpayers more and more money.
Here's why Glenn is right. Glenn, you're right, because the most cruel and unusual punishment, you're absolutely right. The worst punishment I ever got is my dad was so upset. He was like, "You're getting a whooping for this." He said, "Get your butt upstairs." And I would have to sit on the end of my bed, the foot of my bed, right? He forgot. I was up there for hours just waiting for justice to come through the door. So I fell asleep, like crying at the foot of my bed. I'm like 5 years old. And so my parents come up because it's like 8. They're like, "What the crap?" Like, I didn't have dinner, dude. And they're like, "Where is Joseph?"
Yeah.
And then my mom, I guess, walked in. Then she goes down and tells my dad, she's like, "Oh man, you told him to sit on the end of his bed." So you're absolutely right, man. That was so cruel and unusual.
See, but like I would take that better than what like my stepdad would do. Now, my stepdad, all right, black guy, grew up very strict family. He was a professional drummer for a gospel, like gospel music. He did like Dr. Diane White. He's did music with Frank or Kirk Franklin, stuff like that. So Mr. No Nonsense guy. He would come in with the Bible, and then I would get a sermon for 30 minutes on how my sin will send me to hell for being unrepentant of it. So not only did I get a sermon that I'm going to hell, that I pissed off God, I still got a whooping. So I got a whooping and I pissed off God. Like, I feel like I'm going to hell and a whooping. I was like, this is not fair. Like, can you just give me the whooping? But no, like, yeah. The sermon would take longer than the whooping. That was the worst part. And then he would pray with you,
to be honest,
and then tell you to.
I'm gonna
very calmly. He'll be like, turn around, face the door.
You know what?
And then that's it. Bring back flashbacks. It's all bad. I don't do those sins no more.
Don't do flashbacks.
Oh man, I've not watched a single one of your videos, but I've already subscribed. Just the delivery here alone is enough.
Oh, you should have heard Glenn and I the other night. You should at 1 o'clock in the morning talking about women working, and I was already tired, and there was no filter, even less than normal. There might have been amplified.
Grit had 0 fucks to give that night. He ran out of fucks. He was on a deficit of fucks, and he was just like,
I was so far out of fucks it didn't matter. And I'm telling you, it was really. I haven't watched it yet, but I bet it's great, because it was just like, they'd be like, "Well, women shouldn't work," and I'd be like, "What is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard in my life?" Like, what are you talking?
Well, I took it down, Grit, because I had to edit it out. You know.
Oh.
So I have to re-upload it.
Yeah,
so,
but there was this
that one was hilarious.
There was this one thing where they were like, what, I forget what it was. It was talking about women staying home, and Glenn pulls out his Bible and reads I think it's Ecclesiastes.
No, I was reading Proverbs 31:10 to the end. It's about like the noble woman.
Yeah, the noble one who
basically she's a boss
and develops it, sells it for the good of her family and her husband.
Yeah,
and it was
an entrepreneur.
It was a woman entrepreneur in biblical times, in the Bible, as something that to be prescribed to, and it was just legit, absolutely legit. And everybody, it like silence filled the room, right? And that silence was a big bitch, so she filled the whole room. So,
you know why? You know why it's that way? Because Christians don't read their freaking Bibles. Because Christians get their beliefs from the pulpit or from creators.
Actually, less than 11% of proclaimed Christians read their Bible weekly.
Yeah,
it's insane. Man, I felt bad. I got convicted watching The Chosen because there was a scene in the first season or two where and I don't know if we can say the word. I'll say the Israelites, practitioners of Judaism. Isn't it weird? It's like South Park come to life. That's not a bad word.
The Hebrews. You mean the Hebrews?
Yeah, exactly. They wake up and they have these practices of like thankfulness, and so I think it's Peter, and he Simon at the time, and he wakes up, he kisses his wife, and he's just like, thank you, God, that I am here. You've given me another day. I get to go out here and work. And I was like, man, if this isn't my attitude in the morning. Anyway, yeah, read your Bible, folks. It's not hard. You can get the audiobook. I don't care how you consume it, but God's word will not return void. And you can learn that in God's word, your very own copy.
Well, it was just an interesting panel because the thing is that a bunch of red pill guys kind of gravitate towards Glenn's panel. And one of the things that they always say, well, and just like when I was on CT's show with that, the machine lies. He's like, women shouldn't work. They shouldn't work outside the house, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, it's never been that way. Oh, well, I don't mean family businesses. I don't mean, and I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what you mean is that women have always worked. You know it. You just want to, it's only the gift of modernity that allows women to stay home and be provided for by their husband. You got to watch when he re-uploads it.
But even with women working, men still have the protective provider billet. That's still
protector provider.
Case in point, your wife works, but she probably doesn't feel like the burden of your family moving forward, surviving, that burden rests on her shoulders. She doesn't feel like that. That's not why she works.
No.
My wife has worked off and on our marriage. She is known. I can walk away from. There's no situation here on earth that I can't walk away from because my husband's protection and provision doesn't provide that type of peace. And if there are wolves at the gate, they're at my gate, not her gate. She's got a whole different, she's in the inner sanctum or whatever. That's all it is. I'm a patriarchy dude. I'm not a red pillar. I don't like everything that they got going over there with Andrew Tate and these, if you don't have a six-pack, that you're not a man. It's like, all right, guy, get out of here. But that's not.
I think a lot of this comes down currently.
Yeah, like I always say, like the red pill gets the descriptions to the problems right, but it's their prescriptions that they fail on. Their prescriptions do not address the actual problems that they say. Like the problem is feminism. Okay. So what is your solution? Bang bitches. Go bang them. Bang them all. Get at least 50.
Yeah.
Get at least
and they
50.
count on feminism to allow that, right?
Well, it can only happen while feminism is thriving.
Right.
So it's like red pill needs feminism and feminism needs red pill.
And they hate to admit that. They hate it so bad.
Well, because it's like they have no desire to eradicate the problem that they say is the problem. If we suppressed all female promiscuity, let's not even say all of it. Let's say we cut it back 50%. Most of these red pill content creators will be out of a job.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Because you would have no dating coaches, no need for them because these women are not being hoes. You're going to start courting them like normal,
I think that, man, I got to do a separate show on this, but and it's probably more of an evening show than a daytime show. But what do you think about that? We've infantilized our children to the point where even when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, they're as useless as a third grader.
It's not mine.
Well, I'm saying most people across the board. I'm talking about the majority. Obviously not mine. Mine literally tells me, that he wants to go do it by himself. Like he doesn't want dad along. He doesn't need dad anymore. That's the best thing ever, man. I'm like, okay, cool. What do you think about that, Glenn? What do you think about that most 18, 19, 20-year-olds have been infantilized since they could walk even?
I think their parents have failed them. I think their parents are. You want to know what bad parenting is? You want to know what like a child abuse is?
Mhm.
That right there.
It
Not preparing your child for the world and the fuckery that goes on in the world.
Yeah.
That's what is fucking child abuse.
Yeah.
Not whooping their butts. That's not child abuse. That's called correction. Not telling them no. That's called, teaching them to, they don't get to rule the world.
Mhm.
But failing to prepare your child for the ugliness of the world, because the world it does not give a fuck about you, especially if you're a man. If you're a man, the world gives 2 drops of monkey shit. It won't even give 2 drops of monkey shit to make sure that you feel better. Okay, it's cold, it's hard, right? And it's ruthless, and it demands a lot out of you.
Yeah.
You don't get the luxury of being a woman.
Yeah.
And having either the government save you or a man to wife you up and take you out of the responsibilities away from you. All right, that's it. But as a man, you don't get to escape that. You always have the responsibility to act. So if we fail to raise our sons, like by the time your kid is 16 years old, your hand should be able to be free and know that you're just observing. You're just observing at that point.
Do you agree but would you agree that women, that female children need this as much or more?
I would say that yes, but different. Their
Mhm.
preparation has to be different than preparation for a man. That's just my opinion. Like some things may overlap, but for the most part, it's different.
Okay.
Like my 16-year-old daughter, if she was 16, then she's not, she's 21. But she better know how to cook more than 6 dishes. Okay. She better know how to keep her shit organized, and she better be good on her schoolwork.
Have you guys seen the creator, his show, or his I think he's just on TikTok and Instagram. No, he's on YouTube. It's called Home Math.
Oh yeah, I know Home Math. I know him personally.
Yeah, that you're hitting on that what do you bring to the table analysis. And it's as a man, I don't care how many projects you've managed or that you're a managing director or what your bottom line was for QBR 3 or whatever. Like,
I don't give a shit about your job. Do you know how to bake cookies without burning them?
Mhm.
Can you make chicken marsala from scratch? Yeah, I want the red wine.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely excited to watch one of your shows.
Yeah.
It does come with a trigger warning in the beginning of every show, so you know.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah, I'll change my tampon before I log on.
That's a good plan.
Call Tim Walls and see if he can hook me up with some Tampax.
Now, did he actually flip off some college kids?
I have no idea. I normally I follow this stuff. I've turned the campaign news alerts off, and I've deleted that off of my Twitter because I'm just we don't need to get into elections. Just
yeah. I think it's very interesting because, and I see this a lot because unfortunately, I deal with a lot of younger people, and it's crazy how inept they are. Like they can't cook dinner. They can't do anything except use an iPad. They use an iPad for sure. But the rest of it, decision making, are you kidding me? Like they don't have any. Their decision making is strictly, do I want it? Do I feel like I need it right this minute? And that's it. They don't have anything else. So yeah, middle finger's figure of expression. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I think parents. And this is where like I think parents need to give their kids allowance. right? And to teach them how to balance a budget. I mean, that's what I did. Like I gave my kid, allowance every week, and then I taxed them for food.
Yeah. I
got my money back.
Yeah, that's true.
But like it wasn't like
we're hardcore. We're some of the most hardcore of Dave Ramsey people. I realize you can build a wonderful business using debt. I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I get it. There's don't jump on my back, chat. There are people going to talk to me. I'm very learned in economics. Okay, I got it. I got just personal
I did a video with Robert Kiyosaki in Vegas last year. I produced one for him and Rollo Tomasi on Robert Kiyosaki's jet at the private airport. Yeah, we almost got a $250,000 fine. Ask me about that later.
But we don't do allowances because again, just a Joe Mobley opinion, chat. Take your fingers off the keyboard. It's okay. We just want them to know, like, money comes from work. Money comes from delivering a value or providing a service. And because of that, the 6-year, my kids are young. They're 4 months to 10 years old. The 10 and 8-year-old have done things to make money. They've provided goods and services to make money. But sometimes they come to us. There's something that's unreasonable for them to earn this amount of money doing their little whatever, baking cookies or lemonade stand or cutting grass or whatever. Then we'll come up with like a list of abnormal, like, this is not your chores. Like, oh, okay, I can come up with some stuff. You want to get this board game. You want to get this whatever. I'll come up with some stuff for you to earn it. But we try and stay away from the chore. We see the normal house chores as this is your duty to the family to do.
I did it for grades mainly. And it kind of depend on the like my stepson was different than my son, right? My stepson was very proficient in school, right? He was just really, really smart, but he lacked like doing this chores or doing like any physical cleaning up type of stuff. He did not do good on that. So he earned money from, chores. My son is like me, not a really good student, have to work 3 times as hard to actually get a decent grade. So when my son got, good grades, like the last 3 years, he was on the honor roll, and that's how he earned money. Like he had to do whatever was challenging for him in order to earn it. But for him, like chores that's how you pull your weight around the house.
Yeah. I'm on both sides of that scale. I have things that are like, I told my son, I said, either I can pay somebody to do the lawn service or I can pay you to do it. But I'm not paying you as much as I would pay them because they're professionals and you're not. And you're using my equipment and they aren't. So he mows the lawn, he gets paid. When he needed, so we bought him a normal shotgun to do to start skeet with, right? And it's like $500, $700, whatever it was. It wasn't much. I told him, and obviously it was a detriment. It was a building gun, right? Like he could shoot better. The gun was kind of a limiting factor, and we knew it. But I told him, I'm like, look, you get through state and you get through you get through regionals and you get through state, and you don't get mad, you don't get angry, you don't throw shotgun shells on the ground. You just go out, have a great performance, do the best you can for your team, and just be a good sport. And we'll look into buying you the gun that you actually need for this sport. And that's the next level up's like, I think it's 2,200, 2,500, something like that. I forget what it was. And, this is not something he's going to earn on his own. Right. And so he did. He had a okay, but not great showing at both state and regionals. But when you would look at him and he would miss, he would look at the target. You could see that he was trying to figure out what he did wrong. And then he would look down and he would get ready for the next round. The kid next to, and it was really apparent one time because the kid next to him would miss, and he would literally throw the empty shells on the ground, and you're supposed to put them in a bucket, but he would just throw them anywhere. Half of them went on the ground. He, just kind of, his body motion was all like agitated and angry, and just looking at the difference was eye-opening. And so he earned his actual like good gun. And of course we wanted him to have it, but just because I want you to have something doesn't mean you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told the story of him in summer camp before, where he asked his grandfather for money, and I told him that he should not do that. He should, my parents-in-law will just give him money, and I'm like, no, don't do that. And so when he was probably in maybe third grade, so he's pretty young. He's like
all the way up until like the divorce. Like I made my son, I gave him like a blank checkbook, and he had to like write me checks when he wanted to withdraw money from his savings. Like I put all his money like in a piggy bank, but I had it. I was the bank. So he would come to me to withdraw money, and I would deposit his, allowance or the money that he's earned for his grades into his piggy bank, and write on a dry erase board next to it the balance. Right. So I was teaching him, to budget, and I made him pay for his like the subscription to PlayStation, right? So that was a monthly deduction that came out every month out of his bank, little bank account or little piggy bank, and he had to make sure that he always had at least enough money to cover his bill, and that was his bill was the PlayStation, because I don't play PlayStation, I don't play no damn video games, but he does, and I'm paying for it, so I made him pay for it.
Right. So my son's had a credit card since he was 9. And he's actually run out of money before. He's actually like tried to buy something and there'd be like 80 cents in his account, and he can't buy it. So he's actually done that. I mean, it's a great learning experience at a point in time where he's willing to learn it, and it sticks with him. And so, and again, I didn't really kind of want to go down this because I kind of said this the other night, but like my son was talking constantly about going into the military.
Smart boy. But I wouldn't have him go in right now.
Yeah. He was constantly talking about going into the military. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that there's better ways to do what you want to do. And he's, but constantly saying it, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Like my son,
my wife one day asked him, like, why are you fixated on this military thing? And he says, well, college is really expensive, and I don't want to be a burden to you and Dad. Think about that statement for a minute from he was 13 at the time, from a 13-year-old.
That's a smart boy.
Right? Like that's
my son's like a Hebrew when it comes to money now. I said Hebrew. Okay. Like he is the biggest penny pincher.
You can say Israeli.
Yeah, he's one of those. Like he is like, hey, you're gonna get that, right? I'm like, wait a minute. You wanted to come get ice cream, not me. Well, you have more money than me.
Yeah.
Like
my son does that too.
No.
I every time we go to the store, I don't care how much it is. I'm like, you brought your wallet, right? And he's like, nope.
See, I do the same thing with my dad, though. I happen to always forget my shit. I'm like, oh, damn.
I didn't bring my wallet.
I didn't bring my wallet.
It's very funny. So yeah.
He's like, how you are 40 years old. How you still forget your wallet? Shut up, Dad.
That's funny. But I've often wondered, because I've been watching. I don't get a lot of time to watch other content or news or anything, but I've been watching some content that's kind of based around how a lot of young women, and by young, I'm saying 18 to 28-ish, 10-year range. They've never like lived out on their own. They live at home. They've never paid their own bills.
You're saying women?
Women do this, yeah. And
I would have said, if you said men, I would have said, yeah, I get that, but
Oh no,
Wow.
these women are not paying their own bills. They live at home, or they live, or their bills are paid for by their parents. And I'm really not. I really doubted that this existed, right? So this is what happened. So I really doubted that such a thing was real. Like, I honestly thought that this was a made up bunch of nonsense. But no, I was wrong. They were right. They were very smart. I was not. There's like a growing
Sound
number.
so happy about this.
Huh?
You sound so happy about this
I'm
revelation.
so sad, man. I'm like, I really thought I was really thought that it was like just an overblown thing, but no, this is a real thing. This is a real phenomenon. And I think that, it's crazy because a lot of these are the same women that vote. And they're the same young women that are complaining that they can't find men that they can marry. And I'm like, what man would want you? You don't have the only form of payment you have is Apple Pay. Like, if you can't Apple Pay for it or slide a Visa, you don't have a checking account. You don't know what checks are. Like, what the hell, woman? Anyway, I thought it was a fairy tale. I thought people were putting me on. I took the challenge, and I was like, oh my God. Arthur Dye, nobody has said that. Arthur Dye, nobody has said we don't want women to work. Nobody said that. We don't want women.
I don't want women to work. I don't actually think that. I just so she feels better.
He just wants to. Joe's just starting trouble. What we don't want is we don't. Well, actually, I can't say I don't want women to lead either. Women should not lead in the household. That's my only thing, right? So, Imperious. Oh, Simperius is back. Simperius, you can come up if you want. Somebody's got the link. Anson Knowles, don't waste your time. They don't make measuring tapes.
I will take it further than Grid. Not only do I not want women to lead in the house, but I don't want them to lead in the other two spheres of our lives, which is the church or the civil magistrate.
Yeah, okay. So this is a different thing, Arthur Daya. If we took women out of the workforce, it would allow men more room to be able to have, you would be able to have a single payer household.
Arthur Dye just wants to keep men down.
I know. Arthur Dye is our resident sort of kind of weird feminist.
Different comment then. Yeah, I would prefer not to have. Oh, interesting. I'm a segregationist. I would prefer to not have any large-breasted, attractive women with long, beautiful legs in my workplace. Yeah, I would prefer that 100%, bar none. When I go into the office,
who said that?
Only on posters.
Yeah, I don't want so yeah, I said it as a joke, but actually legitimately I don't want women in the workplace. Not to say that women can't work. Just
you don't want them stumbling blocks?
You don't want
them maybe we should have
workplace.
Separate but equal working places.
Yeah, they can work at home.
Yeah, exactly. Because this idea of like a work spouse or work wife. Look, if you have a work wife,
like
you are gonna screw this woman when your actual wife is when you have trouble at home. Then who's going to be there for you? Your large-breasted, long-legged work wife is going to be there.
The one with no
be in Vegas. Yeah, you guys are going to be in Vegas on the work trip, and your wife is going to be boo-hoo-hooing you, and you're going to be crying on this chick's shoulder. And Glenn Lawrence, man, you hit the nail on the head. And then you're going to be learning about her lack of gag reflex, ruining your marriage.
Right.
You're like, I heard you had a very interesting talent. Oh,
yeah. Imperius coming in hot. Most women have never had to pay for anything. They just live at home until they find a man. That's why women had dowries Women are like owning a grown child. They don't produce any. Well, hang on. I got to get the next one up. They don't produce. They are a black hole of consumption. Imperious coming in hot. Now we need Imperious. And
Is he wrong though?
Huh?
Is he wrong though?
I didn't say he was wrong. I don't know why men and women can't work together without sleeping with each other.
Ask the women. They're the
Are
ones
you
that tend to be initiating the sleeping.
Wait, time out. You don't know why? Like are you positing that you don't know why men and women are sexually attracted to each other? Or are we supposed to pretend?
Otherwise, she'd have already come up and like we could have yelled at her, but
we absolutely can. I've not slept with any of the women that I work with. I'm just saying that temptation is palpable. It's obvious.
Coming in hot for Imperious. Imperious is not wrong for many women, those without careers and those from 200 years ago. Shots fired.
Bull crap, Arthur. Bull crap. That's not true. What world do you live in? Your brain.
Lack of sexual discipline to me. I can't generate enough high.
Look, yes, it is a lack of her sexual discipline when she throws her snatch on my lap, and I'm like,
I don't think there's a lack of sexual discipline.
I will be honest.
I think there's plenty of discipline to go around.
I didn't consider myself an attractive person, but insofar as empirical evidence goes, weird stuff kept happening. Women kept asking me out. One girl lied to my mom and essentially broke into my house to bake cookies. Can't make this up. She's actually a professional chef now. Her name's I won't dox her completely, but her name's Tiffany. She lives in Virginia.
It's always a Tiffany.
Yeah, and she lied to my mom.
Tiffany's how you get your car key, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Matrix.
Did she wake you up with like saying like, hey, if I make you breakfast in bed, don't be asking me like, how'd you get in my house?
Tiffany.
A simple thank you would be enough.
No. I was pissed too. I told my mom, I was like, get this girl out of her freaking house. So I've learned through experience that women must find me attractive. Do I think I'm a 10? No, I do not. But I've got something going on that causes you chicks to send me all kinds of in some ways I feel like a woman because I get all kinds of nasty DMs and things that I really didn't need to know or see or whatever.
Those are actually men trying to trap you.
Probably. But the ones who do it at the grocery store are real life. The ones who do it at the grocery store who offer to do
I didn't realize
they're probably men. They're probably men too.
That we're going to come in this hot in the last part. Anson Knowles, our resident bachelor, says, I know why we can't work together without engaging in relations. It's called desire and reproduction, the major motivation for all of civilization. I like Anson Knowles. Anson Knowles, he must not be day drinking because he's got things going on.
Sex is the
Arthur Daya strikes back with disciplined people focus on work while at work and keep their dating life outside of work. Yeah, all four of those people.
You're right. I'm not
except for
guys
that
are not
one
thinking
day.
about dating. You're right. They're not thinking about dating. They're thinking about something else.
I mean, I'm just
no. The discipline, except for that one day where you're having the bad day, the dog died, the wife left a note, and you don't know if she's coming back, and then there she is, big-breasted, long-legged work wife, and she, oh, that's so sad. Let me buy you a drink.
If Kat was here, she would agree with that.
It's
Roland
freaking
Horn
bullcrap.
fires back with discipline. That's my patented word. Equals paying bills reliably. No. Not what that means.
And it's like, she knows the right things to say that the wife ain't saying. You're like, well, look, baby, if you would have just said what she said,
oh shit,
then my head would not be where you found it.
Damn, son. Can we get a mod to send Imperious the link? Can we get a mod to do that? Thank you. Because I haven't had enough of Imperious this morning. Silvar Ogre comes in. Joe, it's in your voice. They think you're gay and they can fix you.
They might. I don't know. That's a solid. The whole thing was the trifecta. It was black fit military uniform. That they were like, there's something here that I want to figure out.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, it's a safer world for me if everyone thinks I'm gay, because it's easier to turn down come-ons from a dude than constant come-ons from women.
Yeah. Let's see. Again, Mike Bell, you're expecting people of today to be disciplined. People can't even.
Did I just hear they said that they thought that Joe was gay?
We're just making fun. It's just. Okay.
I was gonna say that's cool. That would be like the best secret. I mean, yeah, I think I'm gay. Leave me around your wife.
Your work wife.
Glenn Lawrence is not a representative of Joe Mobley.
He has to say that because his wife might watch this later.
No, I'm saying if he was single.
Yeah. Oh, if he was single, yeah.
Grid thinks I let my wife use the internet.
Who lets their wife use the internet?
I don't know. I just have to assume that people are.
I give her like the old maps. You know, you want GPS, you need to find your direction. Here, you got to learn how to read a map.
Son of a bee, dude. I just filled out this whole form and it's a read-only form. Oh, gosh. All right. First world problems, I know.
Yeah, that's terrible. It's terrible. All right, we're going to get Simperius up here. And we'll have another long discussion about something. So, Glenn.
All right. So we do away with prisons. We execute the prisoners.
Oh, Grid.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Grid.
Yes, sir.
What's up? What up?
Oh, so I've missed out on all the drama. I don't want to know about it. And I'm glad that you, that so far I haven't learned anything about it. And thank you for keeping it off of my show.
It's not my drama.
Okay. I just want to say, I'm glad.
I'm so curious. Why are there so many different rooms inside a Discord server?
Oh, bro, like, you can get lost in there. It's worse than a damn mall. It's worse than the the mile mall.
You need to copy mine because mine's like super simple. I have like, it's the shed, right? Like it's where we keep the shit. And then there's a shed full of shit. It's already full of shit. That's where people get to go talk to each other and make fun of each other. And I don't ban them. So,
do you know, whoops, hold on. Let me pull this up. Do you know what I called mine? Oh, come on. Open. Here we go. Yeah.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles?
Now, have you guys noticed that coughing is way less? What was that?
Roscoe. I called mine the Thunderdome. This is the
but
image.
But you don't look like Tina.
Who's Tina?
Tina Turner.
Man, I would have went with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
I can't. Which Thunderdome looks better?
The one with Tina Turner in it.
The one that has Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles on it.
I can't name my server Roscoe's Chicken and freaking Waffles.
You should. You kind of look.
Have
like
you ever had their chicken and waffles?
In a mechanic's outfit with one of those.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying. Okay,
I'm just saying.
I love chicken and waffles.
I'm not typecasting, but I'm kind of typecasting.
Whenever I go to First Watch down the street, there are so many things on the menu. I don't need the menu. Bring me the chicken and waffles. When I walk in, I see you white people. I get it. I live amongst you. Bring me the chicken and waffles. I don't want a menu.
What is it about chicken and waffles, man?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
You've never had chicken and waffles?
Unless you've been to like
you
Roscoe's
have not lived
over in
yet.
LA, dude. If you've been to Roscoe's, dude, the original one down in LA, dude.
Yep, off of Crenshaw. Crenshaw, Manchester.
Yeah, Crenshaw Boulevard, Sepulveda, right there.
Yep, that's the one I go to.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Simperius, what's up, buddy?
Good afternoon, Grid. No, I think there's some really uncomfortable truths we need to kind of like understand and accept. First of all, I think between men and women, um, that we really don't like to just talk about or accept a lot of the time. I think that's where we need to like
It's
begin
too
the actual
bad.
discussion.
It's too bad that Imperius was not here for the first part of the program where we were talking crime and punishment, and now we have him on, men and women, which is he loves to be on top of men and women, but
Well, that would make him bisexual. I don't think that's what he likes to do.
well, he's Catholic, so
So he definitely doesn't like to be bisexual. That's a sin.
yeah.
But I'm all for this. Like the truth, I think there just needs to be a trigger warning
Yeah.
before he goes, because people in their safe spaces.
All right. Well, you want to give the trigger warning, you can, Grid, if you want to give the disclaimer.
Imperius is going to hurt all your feelings. Prepare
Okay.
for it.
So the issue here is that what people really need to
Just
understand
goes
about what
in.
the relationship between men and women is it's an EVA exchange. And it's an exchange, a body used as a sexual object for survival. That is the exchange. That is the basic relationship between man and women. Women are very, very aware of this from when they're very young, that they will trade their bodies, trade themselves, and they don't consider that a negative thing. That's why us as men, we understand that getting plowed, the physical act of getting plowed, is the most degrading thing a human being can engage in. Your body is being conquered. It is no longer yours. You are the possession of another. You're being invaded. These are the things that people don't like to talk about, and why we see men and women as completely different. The reason why I would never marry anyone but a virgin, as my fiance was, is because I think too highly of myself. No man is going to experience what I experience. No man is going to have the possessions to which I had. And so that's where people are kind of forgetting a lot of the things that we as men should understand innately. And I blame it on two things. One, that there are too many men in the world. There are too many men, too many fighting age men that cannot and do not reproduce, and therefore do not settle themselves down or control themselves in a structured fashion. First. Second is the issue that men have daughters. And once a man has a daughter, they don't want to live the understanding that those same things that, how we treat people when we were younger are going to be passed on to how they're treated. And so men don't like to think about that karma gets passed on. So for example, when a dude has gone and, banged 50 women and all the very degrading acts that goes along with that, they don't want to think that their daughter is going to be engaged in those similar acts, because they put their pride into their daughter. That's part of me, and they don't want to get themselves face after. They don't want nuts on their face. So these are the kind of cognitive dissonance that we experience as human beings. And this is why I'm so hard on Andrew, because as much as he may expound certain ideals, he's not going to live it. Do you think you don't think he's living there and is going to try to restrict men from nutting on his daughter's faces when they become age, or spitting in their mouth and doing all those kind of degrading acts? Of course, he doesn't want to realize that. And these are the uncomfortable truths that people have that they don't want to understand. And this is why there is no variance. There is no gray. There is order and chaos. You follow what I say, or what Rome says, essentially, or you're a failure and you don't get an option. There is no gray zone. There is no, oh, this may be right. This could be right. This is sometimes right. This isn't that bad. That's the reason we're in the position we are, because we make allowances for things.
Yeah, let me in.
So, anyways, that's kind of the rant that I just wanted to kind of input there.
Okay, cool. You're in, Glenn.
I'm not gonna lie. I like the way he said that they're getting conquered, because that shit's for real. That's why guys, that's really the problem with the body count. What guys innately have a problem with. It's like, damn, how many people conquered her? Like that. That's the problem.
Yeah, the physical act of sex itself for a woman is the most degrading thing you can engage in. It's the most degrading thing. Like, tell me something. Hey, have you ever sat down on the toilet and wanted to take a crap, but you couldn't and you had to pee instead? Didn't you feel worthless sitting there peeing?
No, and
didn't you just feel absolutely worthless?
Normally,
didn't you feel absolutely worthless just sitting there?
No, I have to shit. Like, if I gotta shit, I gotta shit. Like, it's gonna.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Do you if you were if you didn't have whatever medical condition or anything, don't you feel horrible? Wouldn't you rather stand?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is people don't realize women don't have the PSI strength in their hands to create tools or manipulate the nature around them. So they can't survive on their own. I had this argument with Andrew. He's like, no, they can do it. They can do. I'm like, no, they physically can't. They don't have the physical PSI strength in their hands to rip tree bark off and create tools with. They don't have the PSI strength to tear and make rope. They don't have the PSI strength to create fire. Like it's physical. I said this the other day. The most helpless animal on Earth is the human infant. The most helpless, fully grown animal on Earth is the human female. Every other fully grown animal can take care of themselves on their own, but not a woman.
Absolutely. That's why they think, like, I say 90 days. If men were gone off the face of the earth 90 days, that's how long women would survive.
No, it's less than that. It's less than that.
Days,
it would be 90. It would be 90 minutes. Like, you don't understand.
Okay.
Women hate each other so much. They get
That's
their
true.
they get their hands on the nukes and they launch it on each other in 5 seconds. Are you kidding me?
Their hands on the
That
nukes.
is true.
Man went straight to the nukes.
He said 9 minutes.
Hey, ZD Den, good to see you. Good to see you.
No, but I mean, say what you want. I mean, maybe my presentation is I'm an asshole, but I'm not wrong. I'm Walter. I'm not wrong, dude. Like, that's the thing. Like, I may be a whole asshole, but I'm not wrong on what I'm saying.
Walter from the Scorpion.
No, you're
From
not
Walter.
wrong at all.
Well,
Actually,
from Lebowski, Walter Sobchak.
you're definitely
Am I
not
wrong? Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right.
And these are the discussions I get. Every other month I'll bring this discussion in at the Crucible or whatever. People, this is what I'm saying. Right wing people don't like to talk about this. They don't like to talk about this because they're innately. This is the point. They're putting
hold the phone. Hold the phone. I can't even read that.
Yeah. Women, see, that's what I'm saying, Corinne. I mean, all these dudes on CT, they always say, "Don't get pussy." I have more pussy that I could get than you know what to do with. What I'm saying, women are a natural resource. It's very easy to obtain them. Like, that's what I'm saying.
Somebody check on Arthur Daya.
Yeah, she's gonna fall. She'd fall in love with me in 5 seconds. Are you kidding me?
I bet Imperius is half mast right now, guaranteed.
No. Fortunately,
Yeah.
like I said, I usually like I said, I go to the gym in the morning and then later here in the afternoon. I don't get all worked up like that. When you're you're in plyos and things like that, you're too tired to deal with all that. I think that nonsense. Like I said, I urge every man, whoever gets turned or you get horny, just go to the gym. Go to the gym.
I concur. Yeah, gym's a good place to work it out.
That's how
I go to the gym and end up getting horny at all the outfits. No, I'm kidding.
Like, and the thing is the reason I go so early in the gym, 4 or 5, is because I don't want to see women there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them there. I don't want these.
Well, if you're in California,
cellulite filled asses like in front of my face in these leggings that it's just like I can see. It's just like, you guys, do you realize? This is what I'm saying. Like, nobody realizes how
the outline of your lips.
Yeah, well, not just that, but do people not understand that a vagina actually smells? Like,
Bad.
everyone thinks like this is the thing. Like, everyone looks at women and they go, it's just, if you see a hot woman, all of nature just sees them as some beautiful thing. A dog sees them as a piece of meat. A bird sees them as something to shit on. Like, I don't understand this whole, oh my God, they're these spectacular. Why? Because they're incubators. They're nothing special. This is my point. This is why I blame men more than anything. I blame, and this is what I said in the beginning of the conversation. We have too many men. We need more war. We need more war to get rid of all the men that there are in society. This is what kings did. When kings did back in monarchical periods, they understood when there were too many men in their population and there was restlessness.
Is it
We
too
need
many
more
men
war.
or too many males?
Men.
Many
I mean,
males.
okay, males. Yeah, males. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
There's
males,
too
not
many
actual men.
males,
Yeah, I get
not actual men.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, exactly. Men, and this is what I'm saying. You hear this on CT show. You hear this. I just heard it earlier. You don't get pussy, man. Oh my god, I need pussy. Oh my god, they're so hot. Oh my god, it's like, man, dude. Women have been the easiest thing to use to control men for all of history. Like, people don't realize that the elites see women as a natural resource, like you would water, grain, and gas, petrol. Anything else, they're used as a mechanism to keep order.
Roland Thorne like taking notes for his next book.
No, see, but this is what I'm saying. Like, I was taught this by my grandfather, my dad. I never had to learn this. I remember when I was in middle school, like 9, 10 years old, and we were playing basketball. The girls were sitting on
the amount of email we have today. I think you're right. I think there are too many mailmen.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, it's like I remember seeing them just on the basketball court. They'd be sitting there for when we were done playing, and they'd come playing basketball. In high school, they were waiting there after practice. Like, I don't understand like what this is. I don't know. It really makes it, honestly, and just hearing some of the arguments earlier and what we're focused on as the conservative side, I want us to lose almost, because I'm tired of these people. I'm almost more tired of quote conservatives than I am of liberals, because liberals are 100% committed to their cause. They'll all jump a volcano and die if it meant to eliminate Republicans. Republicans are a bunch of pussies. They sit there and go, "Oh my god!"
Can I ask you a quick question, real quick?
Yeah.
What has the fucking conservatives conserved in 40 years?
There's nothing of them to conserve. That's what I'm saying. They're all seculars, and they're trying to use secular to society to fight secularism.
Can't they just be called like liberal lights?
I would just call them 90s Democrats.
There you go.
Republicans are just 90. Trump is a 90s Democrat.
Absolutely.
He's not a conservative.
He's
that's the only reason I voted for him is because he put a bunch of Catholics on the court. That's the only reason I care about him.
Well,
that's the only reason I care is because he's going to put a bunch of Catholics in the appeals courts. Did you not see his post the other day of posting about the visage to Saint Michael and the prayer to Saint Michael? Who prays that? Catholics do. He's going to be Catholic by the end of his second term. That's the reason I'm voting for him, because J.D. Vance is going to convert him. That's the only reason I'm voting for him.
Well, is J.D. Vance going to convert him to Hindu or Catholicism?
No, he's a Catholic, and he's a hardcore Catholic. He made his wife convert. He made his wife convert. No, they converted.
Oh, okay. I thought she was.
They just had an Indian. They had two marriages, and they had the Catholic Church one. They had an Indian ceremonial one for her family afterwards. And that's fine. You can do that. That's not wrong. You can do that.
Cultural, tradition.
Yeah. You can do that. Yeah, that's no. Yeah. I mean, even in Africa, the Catholic Church, presides over African marriage rituals and stuff like that. It's not the ritual; it's that the church has to acknowledge it.
Yep, absolutely.
So again, like I said, that's the only reason I'm voting for Trump. I don't care about that's the thing. Like, all this nonsense about taxes, about war and all that. Like these are things that nobody even understands why things are the way they are. And it's because what I just described, nobody has the actual commitment anymore on our side. There's very few people like me or a few other people that will literally, if I go, fine. What did Paul say? If to live to death, for death is gain and to live is by Christ. If I die, that's my gain, but I'm here for your betterment. Like, that's what I'm here for your betterment, not for me. To live is for Christ, and death is gain. Like that's how you have to. We have all the answers in front of us. God has put all right in front of us. We refuse to commit 100% toward it. There's very, very few people in the world who would do what Job did. Job is your favorite book, I remember hearing, right?
Yep.
What did he do?
Endured.
What do you mean? What did he do? He
canceled
he canceled all of his bullcrap friends. He unfollowed all of them.
No. I mean Job. No. I'm Job. Job. J-O-B. Job.
He
The book
endured.
of Job. The book of Job.
He
Yeah,
endured, and he was
told,
remained.
He endured.
told his
He took
friends that they were.
everything. No, more than that. His kids were dead. His wife dead.
Yep.
His
It's like, I don't know
family
how they-
dead.
How
His
did he
land
end up-
gone. His land arid. His cattle dead. His health wrecked. His money gone. But what did he do?
Like he got restored twice.
After the test, yeah. But my point is,
how did he get his kids back and the wife? Did he get two wives?
His
God
wife actually didn't die. That's the big joke of it all.
I thought that was his wife died too.
Satan was able to take his children, his livestock, his fame, his fortune, everything. And that's kind of the running joke that that Job was married to an insufferable woman because everything except for his wife.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
Didn't he
like
even
two
tell him
servants.
won't you just curse, God and whatever?
But that was the whole point of the book, though, is to say that everything it can be taken from you, but one thing: your faith in God. Everything can be taken from you, but not that. That was the whole, and that's what we have to, and that's the intent that men have to have if they really want to form reality. When all these men were forming our country, when they sat there and they wrote the Declaration of Independence, you know what they said to each other? We're putting our lives, our fortunes, and our titles on the line for this.
Yep.
Well, actually, they basically burned their titles and their fortunes because they knew that they were going to lose.
Well, and their lives. They thought they were all going to die. They did not think they were going to win.
They were going to die, but they also had already, at that point, the minute they signed that, nothing they owned, if they lost,
meant anything anymore. Yeah. Well, but they did know they were going to die. Why would Patrick Henry give me liberty or give me death?
Yeah.
In a Catholic church, by the way, that was stated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Patrick Henry was a Catholic. So again, this is what I'm saying. It's there is a consistent stream of history if we want to follow it. We've chosen not to follow it. We've chosen to excuse ourselves. Oh, I watch porn once a month. It's okay. Oh, there's sexuality on TV. There's a Hooters restaurant that even exists. There's restaurants and dress codes that allow people to dress like this. There's speech. There's language. We let people talk like this. That's what we have to make the tough decisions right now. This whole nonsensical idea of freedom of speech, freedom of will, freedom of travel, these are luxuries that exist in a society that is structured by fundamental Christian values in a relatively small population in a small demographic area and geographic area. It cannot work in the world we live in anymore. It cannot. A reactive form of government can no longer work. Yeah. We've seen it. We are in a stagnation government. We react to everything, and a democracy.
We are definitely at a turning point. I'll go with that. I'll go with
a democracy cannot act in the speed that it needs to act in today's foreign policy.
Government has.
But you know what? Here, I got some news though, and I kind of talked about it earlier on my stream. The first time since the baby boomers, I think, we are seeing Gen Z men be church attendees more than Gen Z women.
Yeah.
Every other generation has been more women attending the church than men.
Have to take them back. They have to.
Now we are seeing more Gen Z men in pews in church committed to faith than any other generation before. And I think that's a huge point to acknowledge. God's doing a work in that. And it could be preparation for something big, or it could be preparation for the tide to change. Because, the saying was, if you save the man, you would save the family. Because men would bring their families to church. So,
but the whole problem really is here. It's these are what I'm saying. Everyone looks at these solutions like these are big problems. It's not a really big problem. This can be fixed if I was in charge, it could be fixed in 2 weeks, and it wouldn't be through violence. No, it's very, very simple. Okay, 2 things. 1, okay, every marriage, every divorce. If you're going to change the laws in that way, would have to be purview of the church, and only the church, not the state. Okay, so the church will even determine if you can get married. Okay, and then the church will determine if you can not get married, if you can leave. See, this is the thing. We have this, and even here we talk about this whole individual notion that I'm free to do whatever I want anytime. No, you're not. Freedom is anathema to good. That's what people don't understand. Freedom is anathema to good. Unlimited freedom means there is no such thing as good or evil because everyone can do whatever they impulsively want. Okay, there is no good or evil. So to me, restriction, I will always side in restricting people more than I will giving them more freedom. Because as you see, most people don't know what to do with actual freedom. Like, that's the thing. It's a great idea that we allow things, like if we're intelligent people like we are here right now, you could allow certain things and let deductive reasoning take over for intelligent people. Unfortunately, most people are not able to do that. As the parable of the talents showed. I mean, Joe, you should know this one. The parable of the talents dictates that even the person that was given one talent, the lowliest of low, he was only punished and wasn't elevated because he didn't want to do anything with it. It wasn't because he was given less skills, less abilities. It was because he didn't do anything with it.
Well, he did have a lesser ability, which is why it wasn't a surprise that because when you go back to when the talents are being given, it says that the master's going to give them out according to one's ability. So
yeah, your reward is given to your ability.
Wasn't surprised that
no, but he was the master. Christ was the master. No, the parable was like Christ is why was he punished though? Because he sat there and when the master returned? When the master returned, he said, "What? I gave you had one talent." He said, "Why did you not go and take that one coin and invest it? Why did you plant that coin in the field? You didn't do anything with it."
Because he was
the parable was that it doesn't matter how bad how good you are at something or how you feel that you're less advantaged than other people. There's two parables in there. There's one is that with the greater the abilities comes greater the responsibility and greater the expectation. And then secondly, that even if you're given only one minuscule ability, you must and you're commanded to use that skill to the fullest of its ability for the expansion of the kingdom of God.
All right, guys, we're getting down to the last 20 minutes.
I'm sorry, Grid. I didn't mean to ramble, but these are moral fundamental issues that like nobody talk. This is what I'm saying. Like all these, unless you're going on real deep channels philosophically, like people don't talk. Like I said on CTs earlier, everyone's like, "Oh, lying's wrong." Like, why is lying wrong? Like that's what I'm saying. Nobody even wants to begin at the basis. Everyone jumps 16 steps into things and thinks they have ideas on things. That's the issue that we're having. Everyone's like, "Oh, we got all these problems with men and women. We've got these problems with the economy." They don't even know the basic fun. All laws are culturally defined social permissions.
Yep.
That's all it is. Everyone's like, law. What is a law? A law is a reflection of the boundaries of societal norms in that culture.
Yep.
Like that. This is what I don't this is why I get so frustrated on someone and why I go off on people is because I don't want these people having a say.
I agree. That's why we need to like go back to like landowners, military service. Those people should vote. Everybody else, no vote.
Well, no, there should not be a such thing as a vote. There's no need for a vote. If a monarch is following a divine right of kings model, he understands that his authority is only transferred through God and that he follows rules as well. See, if you have a straight dictatorship, a dictator doesn't have to follow any rules.
As long as
but a dictatorship. But but the thing is, the problem with a dictatorship is it's still the final buck stops with a human intelligence and a human discernment of morals. I don't want the human discernment of morals. I don't want a dictator to discern what is good, what is right and wrong. I want the divine eternity. I want the eternal logos to determine what is right and wrong.
Would you be for like a Christian nationalism?
No. Again, nationalism is a false nomenclature. A nation doesn't matter. An invisible line in the sand does not matter. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that Rome is bigger. There was no nationalism in Rome. It was Rome. Rome was the world. There is no idea outside of Rome. That's why they're called barbarians, because they were like a subhuman. They're not human if they're outside of Rome.
That is true. The Romans did
Yeah.
actually consider anyone that was not them.
Yeah, there was no like Italian nationalism in Rome. Italy didn't even form a nation until 65, 66. Like that's what I'm saying. This is what I mean. Maybe because I know so much, I just get tired of hearing people. I think that's just the end of it. I just get tired of hearing people.
It is a burden.
Well, if you want to come on my panel one time and just do all this berging, it's
let's
more than
wrap
welcome
up.
to. I like it.
We're getting down to where I start closing the program out. Go ahead. Well, actually, go ahead and finish out your thought there, Imperious, and then
Before
gotta
he
hop
does
off.
that,
I gotta go to the
that
gym for a
was my
second.
alarm. I gotta get my hair cut so I can look presentable to clients tomorrow.
Oh, see, I gotta get that too. I gotta get my fade done.
Yeah.
So see, as a white guy, I'm lucky. I just get a girl to come over and buzz me a 3 or 5. I'm good.
Don't use prostitutes. Glenn, go ahead and your closing statement.
Now, okay, so I'll hop off here. Like I said, good show, like always. I'm glad you're actually bringing some ideas of some deeper discourse into kind of the things that some of the other channels are talking about. I just think we need to.
Imperious is advocating monarchy.
Actually, I would. My final statement would be: I want to ask Imperious a question. I suggested to the guys the other day, told them like, look, stop romanticizing the 1950s. It's not coming back. We have to move forward, look forward. We can't be gaining any ground by looking behind us. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Did it have anything to do with that rant that I went on your show?
Well, that was the day that I said that before you even came on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not that I don't look to I look toward the AD 40 and 50. I don't look to 1940. I look to AD 40. That's the thing. I think future is to go back. I don't think, like, to me, I'm not a huge, some technology is a necessity. I don't think most technology is a necessity. I don't think freedom of speech and enlightenment values are something that should be encouraged. I think the interaction between men and women should go back to the AD 40 and 50. This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm
like Rome.
Well, yeah, but not even just Rome. You could look at Babylon. You could look at the Chinese.
Not a Caesar.
Yeah, well, Caesar was more of a military kind of coup leadership kind of thing than a straight emperor. So yeah, Caesar was more of like a
Caesar had
mythical.
When they gave the power to the Senate. They established.
Yeah, you had exactly. You had a kind of a dual branch government where you had the Senate, the Republic Senate, kind of like acknowledging.
Yeah,
they acknowledged the emperor's power. Where instead, when Augustus took power, and then with Tiberius, it was more just like, no, I am the empire.
Yeah.
But like I said, it comes with pluses and minuses. But if you look at just the numbers, if you look at the trajectory of things, democracies lead to more conflict than monarchies do. Yeah. They always have, and they always will, because you have a diffused vote. You have a diffusion of power amongst people that don't know what they're doing. And those kind of people, those are the ones that want violence.
To some degree. However, just, point of fact, Rome didn't last 200 years.
It was like from what, I think, BC, 3 something, I think, was when the Republic first when they beat Carthage and started becoming an empire in the BC 300 to like AD 450 something, 452, I think, was the actual civic governance of the empire. But then again, like when the Visigoths and the Gauls, they didn't burn Rome. They didn't burn Rome to the ground.
If you want to use Rome as the example of, and I don't want to do this because I'm going to end up with too long a show, and I gotta. I'm gonna go do some other stuff here in a minute, but if we really want to look at history to go forward, when you look at Rome didn't have a Christian government until after the death of Christ, and it was some time after. So I don't know. I think that
Well, it's what I agree with you in that the Western Roman Empire. Okay, and this gets into a little deep. Look, Constantine established the Roman Empire as a Christian government. Like there's a reason why he called the ecumenical councils as the emperor.
Yeah.
So it's an intertwining, but when he moved it to the east to Constantine, again, it removed power and military protection from the West.
The luxury of looking through history through the lens of modernity, and we forget the massive amount of issues that the Roman Catholic Church had, especially when dealing with the Church of England and all of the wars and everything. So I don't know. I'm gonna say that I disagree. I think a republic is the correct form of government. A federation of states ruled by or governed by a system of laws and put in place by a pardon me, the constitutionally empowered Republican government, or not Republican as a party, Republican as a method of government. I was trying to think of it, and I can't think of a successful monarchy. I'm
Rome. The Vatican. It's the oldest government in the world.
It's not really a monarchy, though.
Oh yes, it is.
I mean, the Pope
it's an ultimate monarchy. It's an ultimate monarchy. It's the ultimate form of a monarchy because again, nothing can even be written, or no one can even speak for the Vatican unless he gives you permission or he writes the edict.
Yeah,
it's the ultimate form. You can't even speak. And when a bishop goes somewhere, he could. Go ahead.
I mean, that's the ultimate dictatorship.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, look, I understand the mythological notion. We have this notion. It's like evolution. It fits within our how would you say it? Like our own mindset. It fits nicely. Of thinking, oh yeah, we popped from a fish to this, and it's very easy for our mind to kind of hop along that trip.
Look, I don't even.
No, hold on.
I'm just saying that if you think, and you have to because you're Catholic, I agree with that. If you think that the Pope is the ultimate ruler and guided by God, then you have to accept homosexuals.
Why would you say that?
Because he said so.
No, he didn't.
He's the ultimate.
No. He said that you accept that there is sin in the world, but you don't accept the sinner or the sin. Like you accept that yes, there is sin in the world, and that people are going. Yeah, that's what he said.
I'll look that up. But
I mean, this is the same nonsense. I mean, you do realize he also said that there is no such thing as a transgender person. There is no such thing as a gay person. They don't exist. These are people that have fallen under sin.
Yeah, they just believe the lie.
Yeah, they don't, like, there is no, like, that's why he says, I mean, he just came out yesterday, I think, and said it, that women are trying to be men, and women, and he's like, no one
says the Pope is now blessing practicing homosexuals.
Who said that? Which archdiocese said that?
Arthrodia just said that.
Oh, please stop. He's not. You want me to? I mean, I can pull up the link right now if you want.
My thing was, I think he made a quote.
I mean, he even said he said it. I mean, this was about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. I think he said to a bunch of children. It was a secret recording too. It was a bunch of school kids down in Argentina, and he said, homosexuality is a sin. You got to call it a spade a spade.
Well, so didn't he say like all religions lead to Christ? Or lead to God?
No, he said all religions will lead to God because God judges all people.
Okay,
now whether you get he's not saying that all religions are right and are therefore valid. He's saying that no matter what religion, even if you're an Arab, you're Muslim, you're a Buddhist, whatever, you're going to be judged in the end by God.
Yeah, you're all going to see God.
You're all going to see him, but you're going to have to be judged then if you chose the right path. Mm-hmm. And that's what he was speaking. This is what I'm saying. Like, if you notice, every single word that comes out of his mouth is twisted, misconstrued to cause division within Catholics.
But I do think Arthur Dyer is right here. I do think he blessed homosexuals.
No, he blessed homosexuals as you would bless a murderer to stop sinning. Just like when the Pope went in, just like when Pope John Paul went into the cell of the man who shot him and washed it hold on. No, but remember, Pope John Paul walked into.
I don't follow those that closely. But
no, I know, but Pope John. Pope John Paul walked into the cell of the man who shot him, washed his feet, and blessed him, and he was a Muslim.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the issue. See, and this is why I say this is about moving your own wishes and putting the churches in Christ first, because I would love to just destroy everyone.
Have you
But
ever
the church,
heard of
the church
Morning?
has commanded you don't get to make that decision, and you don't get to do that. So even if I was in power, I wouldn't get to do what I wanted. And that's the whole point of a divine right of kings. I think it's Psalm 67. It's called How to Remove a King, an Unjust King. God gives us the directions. Remember, Psalms 102, I believe it says, God appoints the king,
Kings.
both
And he also
king
said that in-
and, both king and priest.
All right.
Now, there is only one man
last
on earth who is
guys.
both king and priest.
Jesus.
Let's do last.
No, no, the Pope. But
Wrap it
Jesus was not a priest. Jesus was God himself.
Well, he
incarnate.
interceded on our behalf, so that would make him like in the priest head.
No,
right?
he's God in the flesh. But anyways, great. I'll hit a good show again, man. I hope you have some more in-depth conversations about this. Good panel. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn, I'll try to hop on your Discord or your channel if I get a chance here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
I appreciate
have a good day, guys.
Back and forth, Imperious. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys.
Yep.
All right, Grid.
Go with it, buddy. What do you got?
I'll talk to you after you say your final done. Goodbye.
Oh, my final things?
Yeah, no, I'm not. I
So you
already
don't have
said
any
my. I
final
already
words?
said my final thing. I wanted to ask
right.
Imperious a question. That was my final thing. And he
We
answered
need
it.
more Imperious on the stream.
No.
All right. I don't.
Well, yeah. He's good.
He's very well spoken. I don't agree with him. When I disagree with him, he at least attempts to make the point.
But see, this
he
is like
will
the different
spurg out,
Imperious
which
than
is
like
also
the
fun.
Imperious that I'm used to seeing on like Chaotix.
Yeah, he'll spurg out. Yeah, he'll spurg out, and that's fine. That's fun. Guys, I actually don't have any last words. It's been a great show. I'm going to send you guys over to CT. I may hop up on his panel for a short time, and then I've got things I got to do this afternoon. I didn't really want to kind of start another subject, but he did though. Yeah, he does. He argues with me in good faith because I argue with him in good faith. And as long as it's look with him, there's a specific way that I've learned that you can kind of go back and forth with him. When Imperious and I first met, we must have called each other 40 different kinds of gay person. I'm just telling you. But the mutual respect is what grew out of it. Guys, I'm going to send you over to CT. It's a great show today. They're having fun with it. Go over, have some fun. You're going to get some belly laughs out of it, I'm sure. If not, I apologize. But anyway, you're going to have fun. Glenn, we'll talk here in a second. We'll go with that, man. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you.